Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto, I starts to learn Fly Thunder God at the beginning. Chapter 41. Early on the fifth day, after the four members of Kakashi's team said goodbye to the people from the country of waves, they returned to the country of fire by boat. The sun was setting in the Hokage's office building. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was busy every day, sat at his desk. The scenes in the Konoha women's bathhouse are displayed in the crystal balls placed on the desk. The scene of the girls playing and bathing is displayed on the crystal ball like a movie. This is good, pretty enough. Well, this one is better, white enough and big enough. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened, and he let out bursts of obscene laughter from time to time. A cough suddenly sounded. Kakashi appeared at the window at some point, quietly looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen's back. Oh, it's Kakashi here. Sarutobi Hiruzen blushed and quickly put the crystal ball away and stuffed it into his arms. Kakashi's face was full of evil smile. Sandaime-sama, your spare time is really not wasted. Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed twice to relieve his embarrassment. Well, it's very stressful to always review and approve various issues in Konoha. There must always be an outlet to relieve the pressure. As he said that, he quickly changed the subject and asked, Kakashi, come in quickly. When did you come back? Yes, Kakashi agreed, and after a few steps, he stood in front of the desk. I just arrived this afternoon. After I put my luggage home, I rushed to report to you. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. How is it? Is it going well? Naruto and Sasuke, these two children are relatively easy to discipline. Sandaime-sama, a lot of things happened along the way. Kakashi frowned and briefly described the detailed process of escorting Tazuna. The main thing is about Naruto's rapid improvement in strength, and the whispers Naruto said when he persuaded Zabuza. The main reason I came here this time is to report to you about the two children, Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto's strength has improved so fast that I find it incredible. He has even mastered the Rasengan. And Sasuke was so stimulated by Naruto that he almost gave up on himself. It was only after I started giving Sasuke private lessons during this mission that I slowly stabilized his mood. Sarutobi Hiruzen lit the pipe pot, took 2 strong puffs, and after thinking for a moment, asked, Kakashi, I probably understand what you mean. Are you saying there is something wrong with the child Naruto? Really? Quote. Kakashi shook his head. No, that's not what I meant. I just think Naruto's recent behavior is a bit weird, as if he is deliberately hiding some secret. And this little guy Sasuke belongs to a special existence. You also know that he hates Uchiha Itachi very much because of his relationship with the Uchiha family. Ever since graduation, Sasuke has always regarded Naruto as a competitor and trained hard. I'm worried that Naruto's strength will increase too quickly, which will put too much psychological burden on Sasuke and destroy Sasuke's child. Sarutobi Hiruzen blew out a thick smoke ring. You don't need to worry too much about this matter. There are some things you may not understand well. I once heard teacher Tobirama personally say that the improvement of the Uchiha clan's strength comes from since negative emotions stimulate his mind, having Naruto as an example to stimulate him may not be a bad thing. As for Naruto's recent behavior, which is a bit weird, I heard it from the Anbu personnel who protect him before. Naruto has been isolated since he was a child. Now that he has gained strength, some changes in his personality are normal. Didn't he do anything he shouldn't have done? In the heart of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Naruto and Sasuke are the next generation of elite talents, and they must be cultivated to the best of their ability so that they can be utilized to the maximum extent in the future. How could he be suspicious of Naruto because of something trivial? Kakashi was relieved. So that's it. Since the third generation has already made arrangements, I won't interfere too much. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled and nodded. Well, Kakashi, don't worry, the Chunin exam is about to start. Let all the little guys participate in this assessment registration. After the Chunin exams are over, I will see if Naruto can be transferred to Anbu. After Naruto returned home, he threw his backpack casually on the bed, then stripped naked and walked into the bathroom to start washing. There was no rush back from the mission, and in order to cooperate with Kakashi and others on their way, Naruto also walked back with them. I didn't take a shower after traveling for several days. My body was sticky and the smell of sweat was extremely unpleasant. Wow, The warm water from the shower head drops and rushes over the head, making people feel relaxed physically and mentally. Ah, it's so comfortable. Naruto let out a sigh, applied shower gel and began to rub the dirt off his body. After washing for half an hour, I suddenly heard a knock on the door outside the house. Who? Naruto shouted loudly. Is Naruto Uzumaki inside? We are ninjas under Lord Shimura Danzo. We need to talk to you about something now. A rich male voice sounded from outside the house. Shimura Danzo, looking for me. Naruto was slightly stunned, not knowing what was going on. Wait, come right away. With a promise, Naruto quickly got dressed and walked out of the bathroom. When he opened the door to the outhouse, he saw two masked ninjas. They wore silver vests on their upper bodies and carried a ninja sword on their backs. They were dressed in standard Anbu ninja style. However, the clothing configurations of the two departments, Root and Dark, are basically the same. If you have to tell a difference, I'm afraid it's the masks on their faces that are different. Naruto Uzumaki, please come with us immediately. Lord Danzo wants to see you for something. Naruto covered his nostrils with his hands. The condescending tone of these two Root ninjas made Naruto feel very uncomfortable. Why should I go with you? Won't you be more polite? The two people looked at each other and froze in place. They obviously did not expect that Naruto would say such a thing. Danzo-sama is a high-ranking member of Konoha and a member of Konoha's elders. Uzumaki Naruto, please come with us. Naruto still shook his head nonchalantly and said, lower your stance a little lower, otherwise I won't be able to see your sincerity. You. The dog-faced masked ninja pointed at Naruto angrily, as if he was about to get angry immediately. Naoki, calm down, we are not here to fight. Another ninja with a cat face mask quickly raised his hand to stop his companion. He bowed slightly and saluted Naruto. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, we were rash just now. Please come with us. Well, for the sake of your sincerity. Naruto nodded with satisfaction. As he said that, Naruto looked at the dog-faced masked ninja and said, boy, learn to behave better. Don't always look aloof. It makes people uncomfortable. The dog-faced masked ninja was shaking with anger, but there was nothing he could do to Naruto. The two of them came here this time on Danzo's order to invite Naruto to talk. In such a cruel organization at the root, if it cannot successfully complete its tasks, there will be severe punishment. Naruto closed the door again with a bang, went back to the room, took off his bathrobe, put on a pair of clean clothes, and then left with the two Root ninjas. Although I don't know what Danzo wants to do, with Naruto's current level of strength, Danzo really can't do anything to Naruto. Even if all the thousands of members of the Root swarmed over, there was still no way to keep Naruto. Naruto, who possesses the Flying Thunder God, can immediately retreat and leave with just his thoughts. Danzo lives in the Root base. The Root base was established to the west of Konoha village. This is a relatively remote mountain and forest area, with no ordinary villagers living around it. Towering walls were built over a large area. Inside the wall is the training base square at the root. Dozens of teams of hundreds of people were practicing taijutsu and ninjutsu in the square. Naruto followed the two Anbu ninjas across the square and walked through a dense building before arriving at a spacious hall. Please wait a moment, Danzo-sama will be here shortly. The two ninjas told Naruto, turned around and walked out of the hall. Naruto looked around and saw that the hall was very beautifully built, with dragons and phoenixes carved on the beams, and the tables and chairs used to receive guests also had an ancient charm. Naruto sat down on the chair carelessly, picked up an apple on the table, wiped it on his clothes, put it into his mouth and started to take a big bite. After the past 5 minutes, Shimura Danzo slowly walked in from the outside with his crutch. Naruto-kun, welcome to the Roots. Danzo narrowed his eyes slightly, and his old smile was full of wrinkles and squeezed together, like a blooming chrysanthemum. But Naruto knew very well that this guy looked amiable on the surface, but in fact he was a very sinister guy just like the third Hokage. Naruto smiled, but did not stand up to greet him. It's easy to talk, Mr. Danzo, your root is really magnificent and beautiful. It's like a private palace square, and there are so many root members. You work hard. Naruto's rudeness, coupled with the sarcastic words he spoke, made the smile on Danzo's face freeze. HMPH. Danzo snorted, slowly walked to the main seat with his cane and sat down. Danzo heard it, and Naruto was mocking him for secretly holding the large number of ninjas in Konoha and intending to rebel. Although Danzo had always wanted to be the Hokage, he still felt very unhappy to have his thoughts revealed by a little guy like this. Naruto smiled and asked knowingly, "What's wrong, Mr. Danzo, are you angry?" Danzo narrowed his eyes slightly, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes unconsciously. "Naruto-kun, I came to you this time because I have something I want to discuss with you." Naruto looked puzzled. "Oh, is there anything I can do that can affect Mr. Danzo and invite you to come and discuss the matter with me?" Danzo said solemnly, "I heard that during the graduation examination, you learned the two techniques of Bamindunjia and Flying Thunder God through the Book of Ceilings, and you also recently learned the Rasengan." "What do you mean? Are you following me?" Naruto had a look of anger on his face. Apart from this mission to the Land of Waves, Naruto had never used this ninjutsu, the Rasengan. Since Danzo knew about this so quickly, there must be ninjas from the sect's roots secretly monitoring it. A smile appeared on Danzo's lips, as if he felt that he had angered Naruto and made him feel a little better. He then said slowly, "Naruto-kun, don't worry, I have investigated your file and your qualifications in the ninja school have always been very poor. I'm very surprised. Why were you able to learn 3 ninjutsu through the Book of Ceiling on the day of the graduation exam? Did you really go from being a low-level person to a genius overnight?" Naruto sneered. "What, Mr. Danzo, I think you are not questioning me, but are you preparing to accuse me?" Danzo picked up the teacup on the table, opened the lid of the teacup and took a sip of tea. "Don't worry, Naruto-kun, I have no interest in asking you for guilt. I don't care what happened to you or why there was such a shocking change. However, if you are willing to join my roots, I will also order my subordinates to stop investigating you." Having said this, Danzo raised his head and looked at Naruto seriously. "How about it, Naruto-kun, are you willing to agree to my request?" Ding! It is detected that the host is being threatened by Shimura Danzo. Please make the following choices. Option 1. Agree to Danzo Shikyun's request and join the route, and you will receive the following rewards. Reward: complete volumes of Intimate Heaven. Option 2. Reject Shimura Danzo's request, make a big fuss at the route base and leave. You can get the following rewards. Reward: Wind Release Spinning Shuriken. Tip: the Wind Release Spiral Shuriken rewarded by the system does not have any side effects, and the host's body cells will not be harmed. Danzo had just finished asking. The long-lost system lowly prompt sounded in Naruto's mind. Complete 5 volumes of Kissing Heaven. What the hell? Naruto complained silently in his heart, is the system trying to steal Jiraiya's job? It seems that Jiraiya has only finished 1 volume now, and the second volume has just been written not long ago. However, through the tasks he has taken on these days, Naruto also has a rough understanding of what the system is like, and he always likes to do some nonsensical things. Compared with the rewards of the first option, the second option is certainly more attractive. The damage-free version of Wind Release, Spiral Shuriken, how perverted this is. As long as Naruto has enough chakra, he can ignore physical damage and use this ninjutsu casually. System, I choose the second option. Naruto shouted in his heart. Ding! If the selection is successful, the host is asked to complete the option task within 3 hours, otherwise the system will determine that the host will automatically give up the option reward. How about it, Naruto-kun? You don't need to think about this matter for so long. Seeing that Naruto remained stunned in place, Danzo couldn't help but urge him. Naruto pretended to be surprised and asked, "Consider what? Did I say you should consider it?" Upon hearing this, Danzo's face suddenly turned ugly. "Naruto-kun, are you trying to trick me on purpose? Tell me, you can make whatever conditions you want. There is nothing wrong in Konoha. It's something I simply can't do." Danzo believed that with his own methods, he would be able to conquer a young boy like Naruto. Although Naruto's mind seems to be far beyond that of his peers, there are only 3 types of human greed: money, women, and status. As long as the price of these 3 things is high, no matter what kind of person, there will be a moment of excitement. But something happened that surprised Danzo. Not only did Naruto not put forward any conditions, but he also mocked him again. "Mr. Danzo, you are worthy of being a member of the elders of Konoha. You actually said such words. From what you just said, do you think your status in Konoha is far higher than that of the third Hokage? Naruto was taking advantage of a loophole in Danzo's words, implying that Danzo wanted to usurp the position of Hokage. Boom. There was a loud sound, and Danzo slapped the coffee table next to him with his palm. The table shattered and wood splinters flew everywhere. Naruto Uzumaki, you have made sarcastic remarks to me one after another. Even a clay figurine has a certain amount of anger. I think you have to suffer enough today before you agree to my request. Danzo said angrily. As his words fell, the root ninjas waiting outside the hall also flew into the hall one by one. There were about 50 or 60 masked root ninjas, holding ninja swords, and surrounded Naruto. And this is far from over. There are still large black heads outside the house, rushing towards this direction from a distance. Naruto casually grabbed an apple next to him, stuffed it into his mouth and took a bite. Oh, what a big battle, who are you trying to scare to death? Seeing Naruto acting like a dead pig who was not afraid of boiling water, Danzo frowned in anger. Naruto Uzumaki, since you don't eat the toast and you have to drink as a penalty, then don't blame me, take him down and injure him. It's okay to be disabled, but don't hurt your life. Although he was very angry, Danzo still knew what he was doing and knew not to get into trouble just because of his anger. Naruto is the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Once the Jinchuriki dies, the Nine Tails will also die. It will take 5 to 10 years before the Nine Tails will be randomly reborn in the ninja continent. It's uncertain whether the Kyuubi will still be under Konoha's control by then. And Danzo deceived Naruto this time. The purpose was exactly what he said, he wanted to recruit Naruto into the root. Nowadays, Konoha's talents are withering, and there are very few truly top-level experts. They are all supported by Kakashi and his group. Not to mention Danzo's roots, except for Aburame Tori and Yamafa's, two good hands from big families who work under him. Although the rest of the guys are all good in strength, none of them have particularly outstanding combat abilities. Knowing that Naruto had recently learned 3 powerful ninjutsu including the 8-gate dungeon, Danzo's love for talent was no less than that of Hiruzen Sarutobi. It's a pity that Danzo doesn't know that Naruto's soul does not belong to this world at all. Naruto knew how insidious Danzo was as a person, and even more aware of the pain of the root members, so naturally he would not agree to join such an organization. Even if Danzo made fantastic claims, Naruto would not agree. After Danzo gave the order, the root members who formed a circle and surrounded Naruto waved the ninja swords in their hands and slashed at Naruto's body. 8-door Dunjia, the 5th door is open. Naruto stood up abruptly, clenching his fists and tightening his facial muscles. As he shouted the word, Kai, the veins on his forehead popped out, and a stream of green steam energy rose from his body. Crash! The ninja swords slashed from all directions were shaken by the majestic green steam. The innermost root ninjas all let out a cry of pain. The tiger's mouth of the palm where they held the knife was shattered with a tearing wound. Boom! Naruto kicked the 3 people in front of him away, and then he used the ultimate speed of the 5th Domon to shuttle back and forth among the crowd. Every time he punched or kicked, he was able to knock away a large number of root ninjas. For a moment, the scene fell into chaos. The root members held weapons in their hands and wanted to attack Naruto. But Naruto's speed was so fast that afterimages appeared. Their eyes could barely keep up, but their hands couldn't keep up. But Naruto is like a strangulation machine, able to kill a large number of ninjas wherever he goes. Danzo stood in the hall, watching Naruto kill all the way to the outside, and couldn't help but frown. Is this the 8-gate dungeon that Mad Dai was good at back then? It's a pity that not everyone can do such a powerful physical skill. Suitable for practice. Danzo also used his own methods to obtain the cultivation methods of Bamindunjia and Flying Thunder God, and tried to practice these 2 techniques. But the higher the level of the technique, the conditions for practice are also very harsh. After practicing hard for a long time, Danzo found that he was wasting his time without any improvement, and in the end he had no choice but to give up. On the other side, Naruto fought harder and harder. No matter whether he struck lightly or hard, life or death depended on the fate of those basic ninjas who were hit. This time, Danzo was wrong first. Naruto killed him so painfully, even if the matter got bigger, he would still have room to reason. The technique of multiple shadow clones. Seeing more and more root ninjas coming around, Naruto had no choice but to use shadow clones to deal with the enemy. Naruto's shadow clone number 500 appeared one after another. 500 Naruto shadow clones faced the densely packed root ninjas and started a fierce melee. For a time, the sounds of fighting and noise were endless, resounding throughout the sky. However, due to the very remote location of the root base, even if such a large-scale melee occurred here, no one around would know about it. Take root, Feng, assemble the team and use the tactics you are good at. Don't give Uzumaki Naruto a chance to deal with the enemy alone. Danzo ordered and scolded. Seeing that the subordinates like Genbu fell in large numbers, but still failed to take down Naruto, Danzo became a little anxious. Yes, Danzo-sama. Aburame Togen and Yamaphase both bent down and agreed. Immediately, the two of them jumped onto a towering stone pillar nearby, put their hands in the shape of trumpets to their mouths, and began to shout loudly. Aburame takes the root. The first team of the root. The second team of the root. All members stand down and come and gather here. Shanfang. The third brigade of the roots. The fourth brigade of the roots. The fifth brigade. All members stand down and come and gather here. As soon as Aburame Togen and Shanfang finished speaking, many of the root ninjas who were fighting Naruto's shadow clone quickly got rid of the entanglement and retreated to the side. Those root ninjas on the periphery who have not yet been able to fight are also obeying the instructions of the two captains. They formed a neat and orderly formation, each group having about ninjas. Oh, what do you want to do? Naruto was slightly stunned, and with a wave of his hand, he summoned his remaining shadow clones and stood behind him. Until now, Naruto's body has not used any ninjutsu, and has been entangled with these root members with the 8-gate Dunjia. Therefore, Naruto is still very rich in chakra at the moment. As long as Naruto is willing, he can make 2,000 shadow clones at any time, which is completely worthy of such an array. The first brigade. Prepare to launch a reasonable attack. Aburame Taken waved her hand. Yes, 500 root ninjas agreed in unison. They have obviously gone through a long period of training and have a perfect understanding of their cooperation. In the first group, the shorter ninjas in the front row all crouched down, leaving enough space for the ninjas behind to attack. The ninjas in the second row all squatted down, leaving enough space for the ninjas in the back row to attack. They waved their hands together, completing a set of ninjutsu hand seals almost at the same time. Water escape water formation wall. Hundreds of people stood with one palm in front of them at the same time, opening their mouths and spitting out a majestic stream of water. If one person uses the water formation wall, AC level ninjutsu, the effect seems to be mediocre. But when 500 people use it at the same time, the overwhelming momentum is still terrifying. In an instant, a surge of water surged into the sky, covering half of the square of the training base, and swept straight in the direction of Naruto. Haha, the momentum is not small, but it's a pity that this kind of thing is of no use to me. Naruto showed a disdainful smile on his lips, took out the Flying Thunder God's special kunai, and threw it towards the roof on the side. Danzo, I think you've gone a little too far. Before Naruto could use the Flying Thunder God to escape, an old voice sounded from above, echoing in the space and reaching everyone's ears. Earth Dungeon Earth Flow Wall. Looking up, Hiruzen Sarutobi appeared in the sky at some unknown moment, and he danced the seals with his hands rapidly. Then he opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of 1,000-year-old mud, which fell 3 meters away in front of Naruto. The 1,000-year-old mud surged with chakra, and before the surging flood hit, it quickly grew taller and transformed into a stone wall rising into the sky. Wow! The flood hit the stone wall, the water flow was hindered, and began to spread and flow away in all directions. But Naruto, who was standing behind the stone wall, was not harmed in any way and was well protected by the stone wall. Naruto, are you okay? Hiruzen Sarutobi stood on the top of the stone wall and asked, looking down. Naruto shook his head. It's okay, old man. If you hadn't come here to intervene, I would have beaten the shit out of these guys. You kid. Sarutobi Hiruzen was speechless for a while, but he had no intention of joking with Naruto at this time. Danzo brought Naruto to his roots for no reason, and even started fighting with Naruto. There is no need to ask why. Sarutobi Hiruzen also knows in his heart that Danzo is interested in Naruto, a good young man, and wants to take Naruto under his command. If it weren't for the Anbu personnel who happened to find out and report the matter to Sarutobi Hiruzen at that time, he would still be kept in the dark until now. Roots and Anbu belong to two different organizations. Anbu is an organization that has been established since Senju Tobirama succeeded the Hokage. The Anbu is only loyal to the Hokage and obeys the Hokage's orders. No matter who takes over as the Hokage, the Anbu personnel will always remain the same. The establishment of the Roots was entirely organized by Danzo spontaneously. After Senju Tobirama passed the position of Hokage to Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo was dissatisfied and always wanted to find an opportunity to regain the position of Hokage. After Tobirama died, Danzo began to form the Root organization. In the name of recruiting talents for the Anbu, he secretly recruited many talents into the Anbu. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew these things very well, but he didn't care too much about them. After all, there are many things that Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, is not suitable to handle, and can only rely on Danzo to help complete them. For example, creating public opinion, letting the villagers of Konoha condemn Konoha Whitefang, forcing Konoha Whitefang to commit suicide, etc. Things involving the dark side are all done in secret by Danzo. Therefore, the relationship between Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo is very delicate. There is some competition in it, but at the same time they support each other to ensure their dominance in Konoha. But today, Danzo actually had his mind set on Naruto, and Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't sit still at all. A good young talent like Naruto hasn't appeared in many years. As long as Sarutobi Hiruzen uses the Will of Fire brainwashing strategy, he can definitely control the nine-tailed Jinchuriki. How can he let this guy Danzo take it away? Sarutobi, why are you here? This is the first time you've come here in a long time. Danzo walked forward slowly with his cane in hand, looking up at Hiruzen Sarutobi with squinted eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted and said angrily, "You have the nerve to ask me. Why did you bring Naruto here and why did you attack him?" Although neither of them made it clear, Danzo also knew that his intentions had been exposed. Danzo twitched his lips and showed a fake smile. "Sarutobi, why are you so nervous? Naruto is the nine-tailed Jinchuriki. What can I do to him in this Konoha village? Don't worry, in my heart someone who knows what's appropriate." With that said, Danzo looked at Naruto and said with a smile, "Naruto, I just wanted to send someone to test your strength. I hope you don't mind too much." "Drink." "Bah." Naruto spat out and spit on the ground. "I'm going to test your nerves. It's getting dark, I'm going back to sleep." After saying that, Naruto activated the Flying Thunder God technique without waiting for the reaction of the others present. Swish! With a flash of orange light, Naruto disappeared and returned to the house where he lived. It's so disgusting. Those two old guys singing and harmonizing are really hard to watch. It was all for the sake of getting Naruto's powerful fighting ability, but he still said it in a high-sounding and pretentious manner. Naruto couldn't bear it anymore, so he cursed Danzo. Congratulations to the host, for completing the mission of Option 2, rejecting Danzo Shimura's request, and leaving after making a big fuss at the Root base. The following rewards are now given to you. Reward 1, Wind Release Spiral Shuriken. As soon as he sat down on the bed, a system notification sounded in Naruto's mind. A soft light flew out from the system panel and poured into Naruto's mind. A large amount of complex information about the Wind Release Spiral Shuriken was arranged and displayed in Naruto's mind one by one. It's good to have a system. It saves you the complicated practice process. Naruto couldn't help but sigh. But it is a pity that although Naruto also has various materials and information about the 8-gate Dunjia in his mind. But the first foundation of this powerful physical technique is based on the user's physical strength. As long as your physical strength is not strong enough, no matter how well you understand this physical technique, you still won't be able to use it. System, start signing in for me. It's time to get my reward for a week. Naruto gave the order in his mind again. As early as more than a month ago, Naruto had already experimented. The system's sign-in function can be used to perform one-time sign-ins through accumulation. Ding! The sign-in is successful, and we are now ready to issue you a 7-day sign-in reward. Please wait. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained Ninjutsu, Earth Release Tulong Spear, Water Release Water Dragon Bullet, Wind Release Fierce Wave. Obtain Ninja Tools. Detonating Talisman X3, Hexagonal Shuriken X3, Kunai X3. After the rewards were distributed, there was nothing eye-catching. But this was within Naruto's expectation. Since he started owning the system, every time he got good things, he got them from ninja missions. Name: Uzumaki Naruto. Age: 12 years old. Non-attribute ninjutsu: Rasengan, Multiple Shadow Clone, Flying Thunder God, 8-Gate Armor Taijutsu. Fire Ninjutsu: Flame Bullet. Water Ninjutsu: Water Formation Wall, Water Dragon Bullet. Earth Ninjutsu: Heart Beheading, Earth Flow Wall, Earthen Spear. Wind Ninjutsu: Gale Palm, Gale Wave, Spiral Shuriken. Thunder Ninjutsu: Earth Walk. Root Total Base. Above the training square, Hiruzen Sarutobi was still standing on the towering stone wall. He jumped down from a high altitude, and the two Anbu ninjas who were escorting him followed him on the left and right. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and said solemnly, "Danzo, you and I both understand some things, but I hope you won't go too far. Naruto is the Jinchuriki of Konoha. Now his strength is improving rapidly. He must become the backbone of Konoha in the future. Genbu's current strength is pretty good. I hope you won't be too greedy and stretch your hands into my arms." Shimura Danzo continued to maintain that fake smile and replied calmly, "Sarutobi, you are overthinking. I have no intention of recruiting Naruto. It's just that my people recently investigated Naruto's file and found that he didn't have such an outstanding talent before, and suddenly there is such a shocking change. Don't you think that Naruto guy is very suspicious?" Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted coldly and scolded, "Don't I still know what Naruto is like? He grew up under my nose, what bad intentions can he have? Don't stir up trouble, you guy. Danzo, that's all I'm saying. You should pay attention to yourself in the future and stop causing trouble everywhere." With that said, Sarutobi Hiruzen flicked his sleeves, turned around and walked towards the outside of the training base. "Let's go." "Yes, Sandaime-sama." The two Anbu bowed down, agreed, and followed closely. Watching the old friend he had been fighting with for many years walk away, Danzo put away the smile on his face and a ruthless look flashed in his eyes. "After so many years, Sarutobi, you old guy still hasn't changed. You always like to do everything. They all overwhelm me. Don't you like me touching Uzumaki Naruto? I still have to investigate him thoroughly to see what happened to him." Danzo snapped his fingers and said in a deep voice, "Give me the order to form an elite Jonin team and monitor Uzumaki Naruto 24 hours a day. If there is anything suspicious about him, come back and report to me immediately." Quote, "Yes, Danzo-sama." The next morning, Naruto woke up from his sleep when a dazzling beam of light shone on his face. "I just came back from a mission, and there won't be any important tasks to do for the time being. The 4 people in the 7th class have all been on vacation in the past 3 days." Naruto also changed from his usual diligence. Instead of getting up early to practice, he slept in. "I looked at the alarm clock on my bedside, it read 10:20 a.m. I actually slept for 12 hours. It seems that I really lack sleep recently." Naruto muttered, got up and put on his clothes, then walked into the bathroom and started washing his face and brushing his teeth. I don't know if Hinata is out on a mission right now, or what she is doing. They haven't seen each other for more than half a month, and Naruto still misses Hinata, a little Lolita. Forget it, try your luck. After opening the refrigerator and taking out some milk, Naruto decided to go find Hinata immediately. Shoo, the Flying Thunder God technique activates. The next moment, Naruto appeared in a relatively spacious bathroom. Wow, the sound of running water sounded in the bathroom, and the water from the shower head was flowing down. When Naruto saw the white body under the shower head, he was stunned and froze on the spot. Hinata was naked, closing her eyes and enjoying the warm water flowing over her body, her hands slowly rubbing her body. Her skin was white and translucent, and even at this age, her breasts were beginning to take shape. Naruto felt the tip of his nose feel warm, and raised his hand to wipe the tip of his nose, and a stream of nosebleed flowed down. "This is so exciting." Naruto couldn't help but sigh in a low voice, but his eyes never left Hinata. Perhaps because she heard someone talking next to her, or perhaps because she sensed something, Hinata suddenly opened her eyes and immediately met Naruto's eyes. "What?" After a brief daze, Hinata covered her chest with her hands and let out a piercing scream. The scream was enough to burst his eardrums, causing Naruto to frown and quickly cover his ears. Hinata, don't scream, we'll call everyone in a moment. Naruto shouted loudly. Okay, stop barking, Hinata. Hinata finally stopped shouting and glanced at Naruto shyly, then her cheeks turned red. Naruto-kun. How? Before she could finish her words, Hinata was so excited that her brain was temporarily deprived of oxygen and fell into a coma, falling straight back. Hinata, be careful, Naruto exclaimed and rushed forward to grab Hinata's waist. If Hinata was allowed to fall down in such a coma, even if she didn't have a bloody head, she would probably be seriously injured. But the problem was that Hinata was not wearing any clothes at the moment, so Naruto rushed up and hugged her, and their bodies instantly came into the most intimate contact. The pretty red lips, the white neck, the slightly bulging chest. When Naruto saw all of this, the nosebleed that had just stopped suddenly spurted out again. He was so frightened that he quickly closed his eyes and silently recited Amitabha in his heart. After all, he and Hinata are still young, and neither of them has really established that level of relationship. If he continues to look like this, Naruto is afraid that he will do something bad. Boom boom boom. Ms. Hinata, how are you? What happened? There was a rapid knock on the door, accompanied by several male voices shouting. Perhaps Hinata's scream just now attracted the attention of the patrolling guards in the Hyuga clan's mansion. Holy crap, someone is here, what should I do? Naruto was panicked for a moment and didn't know what to do. He opened his eyes, raised his hand to take the clothes from the shelf nearby, and covered Hinata's body. Only then did he dare to look at Hinata. Hey, Hinata, wake up quickly. Naruto raised his hand and gently patted Hinata's cheek and shouted. Maybe it was because what happened just now stimulated Hinata too much. No matter how much Naruto shouted, she still showed no sign of waking up. Boom boom boom. Ms. Hinata, are you in there? We are coming in. The shouts outside the house rang out again, followed immediately by the sound of the door being kicked hard. I'm in there, it's okay. Naruto pinched his throat and tried to imitate Hinata's speech, trying to get away with it. But how could such a little trick possibly deceive an experienced Hyuga ninja? In the bathroom. That's not Miss Hinata's voice, who the hell are you? The shouts sounded again, and the three ninjas of the Hyuga clan quickly ran towards the bathroom. They looked at each other and then kicked the wooden door of the bathroom at the same time. Gotcha. The door panel was torn apart, but except for the shower head that was still flowing water, there was not a single figure in the bathroom. Let that person run away. Hurry and report to the clan leader that a loot thief sneaked into the Hinata mansion and captured Miss Hinata. It was so dangerous, it really scared me just now. Naruto gently placed Hinata on his bed, patted his chest, and exhaled a long breath. I just had a short circuit in my brain, trying to imitate Hinata's accent. If he directly used the Flying Thunder God to take Hinata away, he might not attract the attention of those Hyuga ninjas. Covering Hinata's body with his quilt, Naruto sat on the edge of the bed and raised his hand to gently pinch Hinata's philtrum. Hey, Hinata, wake up quickly. After a while, Hinata opened her eyes drowsily. Naruto-kun. When she saw Naruto for the first time, her eyes were a little dazed. Maybe she remembered what happened in the bathroom just now. She quickly looked down at her body and breathed a sigh of relief when she found that it was covered by a quilt. Naruto-kun. Why did you just? She grabbed the quilt with her hands and tightened it to her chest. Naruto scratched his head in embarrassment. Hinata, I'm sorry, I just came back from a mission yesterday, and I wanted to go find you. But I don't know if you are in Konoha or not, so I just want to try my luck with the Flying Thunder God. I didn't expect it to appear in your bathroom, and you also know what happened next. Hinata nodded slightly, her face flushed, and she lowered her head. Naruto-kun, I don't blame you, it's just that what happened just now was too sudden, that's why I did that. Naruto smiled and raised his hand to touch Hinata's head. Well, I know Hinata is the best and won't misunderstand me. A kind-hearted girl like Hinata is so cute. What just happened was Naruto's fault no matter what, but this little girl Hinata was still thinking of ways to explain to Naruto. Feeling the warmth from Naruto's palm, Hinata's cheeks turned redder. Naruto-kun, can you turn your back? I want to put on my clothes first. Oh, okay. Naruto responded slowly and agreed, quickly walked away and turned around. There was a shuddering sound coming from behind, presumably Hinata was sorting her clothes. After a while, Hinata's voice sounded, I'm ready, Naruto-kun, by the way, where is this place? Naruto walked back to the bed and sat down, smiling and saying, this is my home. I was just in a hurry, so I used the Flying Thunder God to take you away. At this point, Naruto remembered what happened just now when someone from the Hyuga clan broke in to check because they were worried about Hinata. By the way, Hinata, when I just took you away, someone knocked on the door and called you. They broke into your room. I was forced to do nothing. I really didn't want to be known as a pervert and a flower picker. This I just brought you back to my house. PFF'd, Hinata burst into laughter and laughed out loud. Naruto-kun, I really didn't expect that you could be so embarrassed. Naruto smiled awkwardly. No, I didn't expect things to turn out like this. By the way, Hinata, why are you taking a shower at this time? It's noon. Such a sensitive topic made Hinata's cheeks, which had just subsided, turn red again. She stammered. That's because I went to practice at the training ground where we often practice in the morning, and I was sweating all over. And yesterday, Teacher Hong specially told me to have a holiday, so I went home to take a shower. Sigh. The two hadn't seen each other for a long time, but now they finally met and started chatting. Although the topic always revolves around trivial matters in life, for a man and woman in love, no matter what the discussion is, as long as they can stay with each other, they will feel very happy and sweet. Hinata, this girl, was one of the few people in Konoha who gave Naruto warmth. Her kindness, her cuteness, and every advantage in her deeply attracted Naruto. The two of them chatted, and before they knew it, 2 or 3 hours passed quietly. It wasn't until the two of them clearly felt that a large number of ninjas were stampeding on the roof that they stopped talking and looked at each other. Hinata looked confused. What's wrong? Naruto-kun, what happened outside? Naruto shook his head. I don't know either, let's go and have a look. Yeah, Hinata nodded, got off the bed, and walked straight to the window. When the two of them crowded around the window and looked out through the glass, they discovered that there were many ninjas from the Hyuga clan outside, running and jumping between the rooftops everywhere. There was a trace of embarrassment on Naruto's face, and he smiled and said, Hinata, it seems that I caused trouble. I took you away and alerted your tribe to look for you. Hinata just realized it, and she comforted her softly. Naruto-kun, don't worry, it's okay. I'll just go out and tell them clearly. Before Hinata could finish her words, on the roof of the building opposite, there were 3 Hyuga clan members who turned on their Byakugan and suddenly turned their heads to look this way. It seems to be Ms. Hinata, she is over there. It's really Miss Hinata. There is another person beside him. That guy must have kidnapped Miss Hinata. When the Byakugan perspective is turned on, the world is gray and white, but according to their pupil power, they can also ignore the obstruction of objects and perform 360-degree perspective. Although Naruto and Hinata were still in the room at the moment, the Hyuga clan members had clearly seen Hinata's presence through the Byakugan's clairvoyance ability. Naruto-kun, they found me. I will go out and explain to them first. I will come back to you when I have the opportunity. Hinata also realized that something was wrong. She briefly explained to Naruto, quickly ran to the door, opened it and rushed out. Naruto stood quietly at the window and watched Hinata say something to those guys from the Hyuga clan. Hinata then turned back to look at Naruto before leaving with those people. Little loli, please go back. I should also go to eat, and then start my physical training. Naruto muttered, took the kettle and filled it with water, then locked the door and went out. This oolong incident was just a small episode and did not affect the relationship between Hinata and Naruto. For almost a week, Kakashi did not let Team 1 take over the mission. He just let Naruto and Sakura practice on their own, while he took Sasuke with him and began teaching without reservation. During this week, except that the 7th team did not leave the village to perform tasks. Even Hinata's class did not leave the village, which also gave Naruto more opportunities to get along with her. During this time, the relationship between the two became much better. Sasuke's talent is very high. Just like in the original work, it took him less than half a month to learn Kakashi's famous skill, Reikiri. You know, the ninjutsu of Reikiri is not that simple. Being able to use Reikiri also means that Sasuke has mastered the changes in the nature of the thunder release chakra. In the plot of the original work, there is an implicit setting. If a ninja masters the change in the nature of a ninjutsu attribute, then this ninja has at least reached the strength of a special Chunin. Even though the Chidori style that Sasuke was good at in the middle period was more powerful than Reikiri, it was just that Sasuke had further improved the nature of the thunder release chakra through training under Orochimaru's guidance. Sometimes Naruto really feels that Kakashi is too partial to Sasuke. Although the two of them belong to the same lightning style ninja and also possess the Sharingan. But Kakashi was only focused on training and didn't even have time to pay attention to the other two students, which was a bit unreasonable. Naruto himself didn't have much. He had acquired many powerful ninjutsu through the acquisition of system tasks along the way. But what about Sakura? After all, Sakura is Kakashi's student. Apart from teaching her a tree climbing skill, he has never taught her anything else. It's not that Naruto wants to complain about Sakura or anything, he just simply feels that Kakashi is partial. Another early morning, on the familiar training ground, there were two figures, a man and a woman, sparring hard. The girl has short black hair and pure white eyes surrounded by veins. Every time she attacks with her palm, the force is very even and sharp. The boy has short yellow hair, and his fists and kicks are very powerful. Hinata, it's getting late. Let's finish practicing here today. Naruto stopped, looked at Hinata and said calmly. Hinata nodded. Well, Naruto-kun, I was just about to say that. Teacher Hong has arranged a special training for class today, and I'm about to rush there to gather there. A smirk appeared on Naruto's lips. Okay, then before you go there, is there one more thing you haven't done yet? Hinata's face was full of doubts, and she asked in confusion, what's wrong? Naruto-kun, is there anything else? No, this. Naruto moved his head forward and raised his hand to tap his cheek. Ah, Naruto-kun, you. Hinata's face instantly turned red with embarrassment. She lowered her head and faltered for a long time, but she still froze in place and did not dare to move. The last time Naruto made such an unreasonable request, Hinata didn't know what happened, but she suddenly dared to go up and kiss her. But this time Hinata was so shy and nervous that she didn't even dare to raise her head. Naruto chuckled. Don't be so embarrassed, Hinata, since you are so shy, then I will take the initiative. After saying that, without waiting for Hinata to react, Naruto quickly stepped forward and gave Hinata a firm bite on the cheek. Naruto-kun. Hinata's face turned red to the back of her ears, and she could only hear her little heart beating wildly. Hey, this is my return gift for kissing me last time. See you tomorrow. Naruto walked slowly towards the outside of the training ground and towards the old place where team gathered. On the street outside the ninja school, 3 children, only about 5 or 6 years old, were playing football on the road in the alley. Konohamaru-kun, how can you act like a rogue? You just committed a foul. The cute little yellow mouth was raised, with a look of displeasure on his face. A little bit, if you can't grab it, you can't do anything to me, hee. Konohamaru ignored it completely, turned around and made a face at Moawang and Udon, raised his foot and kicked the ball away go far away. Bang! The ball was impartial and hit a person's thigh, leaving a mud ball mark on his black jumpsuit. There are many light red lines painted on the face, and there is a bandaged puppet on his back. It is none other than the ninja of Sunagakur village, Kankuro. Kankuro showed a hint of displeasure on his face, raised his foot and stomped the ball hard, saying in a cold voice, Hey! Kid, you soiled my clothes. How could Konohamaru hear this? Seeing his newly bought toy being destroyed like this, the grandson of the Hokage's temper immediately exploded. He rushed forward, swung his fists and kicks at Kankuro, and cried out, Why did you step on my ball? Pay me the ball quickly, you fool. Kankuro held down Konohamaru's head with one hand, and no matter how hard Konohamaru's short legs kicked him, they couldn't get any of his clothes. TCH, what a little overestimation of one's abilities. Are all people in Konoha so rude? A disdainful smile appeared on Kankuro's lips. He grabbed Konohamaru's collar and lifted him up with one hand. Hey, kid, you are really annoying. You are almost irritating me. Cough cough, cough cough, the clothes on his chest were tightening, and Konohamaru felt a little unable to breathe. He opened his mouth and kept coughing. Let me go, cough, please let me go. Looking at Kankuro's bloodshot eyes, that look frightened Konohamaru. It was a cold killing intent that he had never felt before. Konohamaru-kun, how are you? Mengwang's eyes were full of worry. Seeing Konohamaru being treated like this, she and Udon didn't know what to do for a while, they just stood there blankly. Moawang, what should we do? Why don't we go find Konohamaru's tutor to help? Udon pulled Moawang's sleeve and suggested aloud. Yeah, Mengwang nodded, seeming to think this method was feasible. But just as the two of them turned around, they saw a yellow-haired boy wearing orange sportswear walking out of the corner of the alley. Hey, that guy with the ghost symbols on his face, put him down quickly. Naruto was originally going to gather on the wooden bridge outside the ninja school, but he didn't expect to see this scene when he passed by. Although Naruto only met Konohamaru for the first time, in the original work, this kid was Naruto's #1 fan and a follower. Naruto still had a very good impression of Konohamaru. Oh, here comes another short winter melon. Do you want to join in the fun? Kankuro smiled disdainfully. Seeking death. Naruto's face turned cold, he raised his right foot and kicked the ground hard. The two thumb-sized stones under his feet instantly cut through the air, making a burst of sound, and hit the back of Kankuro's hand. What? Kankuro didn't have time to react. The back of his hand suddenly hurt, and he was forced to let go of Konohamaru's hand. Asshole. Kankuro cursed and looked down at his palm. He only saw two thumb-sized deep pits on the back of his hand, and the white bones inside were clearly visible. Kankuro, be careful, Temari exclaimed from behind. Kankuro had a premonition of something bad, and when he looked up again, he found that Naruto had turned into an afterimage and appeared in front of him. You bully a child and use harsh words to hurt others. You should be beaten. Naruto shouted angrily, raising his palm to slap Kankuro hard on the cheek. Pop, a crisp sound came out, and Kankuro felt his head was in a daze, and then his whole body flew backwards. Puff, he was thrown to the ground so hard that Kankuro grimaced in pain. 5 bright red fingerprints appeared on his face, and the entire side of his face was swollen. Kankuro, how are you? Are you okay? Temari hurriedly rushed forward, helped Kankuro up and asked with concern. Kankuro covered the side of his face and looked at Naruto with anger. Who is that kid? How could he be so fast? Temari shook her head slightly. I don't know either, but looking at the ninja forehead protector on his head, he should be a ninja from Konoha. That guy should be about the same age as Gaara. He can actually have such strength. Konoha's ninjas are indeed not simple. Gaara suddenly walked out of the corner behind him and glanced at Kankuro with an indifferent expression. Kankuro, you are so useless. You were defeated so easily. Kankuro gritted his teeth. I was just too careless. I didn't expect that guy to be so fast. Stop making excuses and try to improve your strength, Gaara said as he walked slowly in the direction of Naruto. After arriving close, Gaara stared at Naruto for a long time with his eyes that had no human emotion at all, and then asked, what is your name? Naruto knelt down and helped Konohamaru up, who was still stunned, and replied in a neutral tone, Uzumaki Naruto, what, you want to avenge that guy, right? I can accompany you at any time. Gaara shook his head slightly. Naruto Uzumaki, I have already remembered you. Don't worry, I don't have the leisure to avenge anyone, I just hope that we can meet again in the Chunin examination arena. After saying that, without waiting for Naruto's answer, Gaara turned around and shouted, Kankuro, Temari, let's go. Got it. Temari agreed and helped Kankuro follow behind, walking out of the alley. Watching the three people leaving, Naruto unconsciously smiled. The appearance of these guys in Konoha naturally means that the Chunin exam is coming. According to Naruto's original plan, he was going to carry out his revenge plan during the Chunin exams. In other words, it was with the help of Orochimaru's power to complete Naruto's revenge plan. According to the development of the plot, during this Chunin exam, Orochimaru will pretend to be the 4th Kazekage and come to Konoha to observe. The purpose of Orochimaru's visit is nothing more than two. First, it is to consider the strength of Uchiha Sasuke, the container. The second is to launch a revenge plan against Sarutobi Hiruzen. At that time, the three villages Sunagakure, Odogakure, and Kusagakure will jointly launch an attack on Konoha. Naruto also wanted to take advantage of that moment and use the momentum of this power to kill the top leaders of Konoha in one fell swoop. Danzo Shimura was the cause of Naruto's childhood pain. He maliciously spread the news that Naruto was the nine-tailed demon fox, making everyone in the village hate Naruto. And Sarutobi Hiruzen is also not a good bird. After the fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato died, he chose to confiscate all Minato's property and put it into his own pocket, making Naruto live such a miserable childhood, relying on expired bread and instant noodles every day. There were also Mito Kaden and Kaharu Kaden, who conspired with the other two old guys to secretly murder countless ninjas in order to consolidate their dominance in Konoha. In Naruto's opinion, these people should all die. Brother, you are Uzumaki Naruto, right? Konohamaru's eyes were filled with stars as he grabbed Naruto's clothes. Naruto then came back to his senses, looked down at him, and said, "Yes, it's me." "What's wrong, Konohamaru?" "Oh, Tsukuichi, brother Naruto actually knows my name, that's great." Konohamaru suddenly showed a look of admiration. He turned back and waved to the other two companions and shouted, "Moawang, Udon, come here quickly, this is brother Uzumaki Naruto." Udon sniffed the string of green snot hanging on the tip of his nose. Is it Uzumaki Naruto? Is that the big brother Naruto who just graduated from the ninja school and learned the Flying Thunder God technique? Really, it can't be such a coincidence. Mengwang also covered her mouth in surprise. The two of them looked at each other, ran towards Naruto quickly, took out paper and pen from somewhere, and delivered them to Naruto. "Brother Naruto, we are all your fans, can you sign your autograph for us?" "Signature. This, okay." Naruto looked helpless and lowered his head. Looking at the expectant looks on Moawang and Udon's faces, he had no choice but to take the pen and paper and write his name on it. After Moawang took the signature, he took it in his hand and looked at it carefully. He couldn't help frowning and complaining, "Why is brother Naruto's handwriting so ugly? It's not as good as mine." Naruto suddenly looked embarrassed and didn't know how to respond to her. He was a scumbag in his previous life. In this life, he traveled through time and became Naruto. He was still a scumbag. How could his words be nice? Going. "Don't give it to me. This is brother Naruto's autograph." Konohamaru snatched the notebook from Mohuang's hand and held it in his arms like a treasure. He showed his smiling face with one front tooth missing, looked at Naruto and continued to ask, "Brother Naruto, thank you for saving me just now." Naruto scratched his head. "You're welcome, it's just a little effort." As expected of brother Naruto, he actually said the matter of saving the grandson of the third Hokage in such a simple way. It's so domineering. "Brother Naruto, can I conduct an interview with you?" Naruto was confused. "Interview? What interview?" "Of course you learn to be an interviewer with celebrities in Konoha. Now in the entire Konoha ninja circle, there are many people discussing you." Naruto didn't feel too surprised when he heard what Konohamaru said. The fact that Naruto had learned the two forbidden techniques in the Book of Ceilings had already spread in the ninja circle. It is estimated that Konohamaru and the other three little guys would know about such a thing, and they only learned about it because their elders mentioned it. After staying with these three cute little kids for a while, seeing that the gathering time was coming soon, Naruto waved goodbye and left, heading towards the river outside the ninja school. Clear and rapid water flows in the river. Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke were leaning on the railing of the wooden bridge, quietly waiting for the arrival of their companions. "Sasuke-kun, how have you been practicing with Mr. Kakashi recently?" Sakura glanced at Sasuke, trying to find a topic to open. "It's nothing, just leave it like that," Sasuke replied coldly. Sakura obviously noticed that Sasuke's words had become less and less recently. She went up to talk to him, but she only got a few replies that were neither salty nor cold. She didn't know what was going on with Sasuke. Although she wouldn't feel embarrassed, Sakura deeply liked Sasuke. She didn't want Sasuke to become as cold as he is now. She continued to look for topics and asked, I haven't seen much of Naru these days. As for people, I don't know what happened to him." When he mentioned Naruto, Sasuke's fists clenched together unconsciously. That guy, I will definitely find a way to surpass him. At this time, Naruto happened to come from the corner and stepped onto the wooden bridge. Sasuke, don't be so competitive. What's the point of surpassing me if you can't surpass me? Sasuke's eyes ignited with a fighting spirit, and he turned to look at Naruto and said, is it meaningful? Of course it is meaningful. This is an important meaning to prove the value of my existence. Naruto walked to the opposite side of the two of them, jumped on the guardrail of the wooden bridge and sat down, smiling and said, I have become the benchmark for the value of your existence. This is really an honor for me. A smile appeared on Sasuke's lips. Naruto, I think you know that there must be a duel between you and me. I hope this time can come as soon as possible. Through more than half a month of practice, Sasuke's strength has greatly improved. Not only has Chidori fully mastered it, he has even learned several new ninjutsu. Naruto shook his head helplessly. Should I duel with you? It's not necessary. It's not that Naruto looks down on Sasuke, it's just that with Naruto's current strength, he has no interest in such petty fights. Dealing with Danzo and his group of insidious senior leaders of the Elder Council is Naruto's current goal. Shoo! A figure flashed out from a distance, squatting on the beam above the wooden bridge, waving and saying hello. Hi, I just accidentally got lost, so I came a little late. Liar! Sakura waved her fists and roared with dissatisfaction. Sasuke and Naruto were already used to this. They just looked at Kakashi with disdain. He always found such lame excuses for being late. Who would want to believe it? Kakashi scratched his head in embarrassment and jumped down from above. Okay, I haven't formally gathered with you for a long time. I called you here today because I have something important to tell you. Sakura looked confused and asked, is it important? Kakashi-sensei, we have to go out of the village to perform a mission again, right? I've been going crazy at home these days. I'm really not used to days without missions. Kakashi shook his head, glanced at the three of them, and said, no, Sakura, this is a more important matter than executing the mission, but this matter requires the consent of the three of you. As he spoke, Kakashi reached into the ninja tool bag at his waist, took out 3 forms from it, and opened them up to display in front of the three of them. The 3-year Chunin examination is about to begin. Fortunately, you are just in time for it. If you miss this time, you will have to wait another 3 years for the chance to participate. While speaking, he also delivered the form to the hands of Naruto and the others. Chunin exam. Are you taking it at this time? But, didn't we just graduate soon? Sakura glanced at the form, lowered her head and said with some trepidation. Although she didn't know how difficult the Chunin exam would be, Sakura still had a good idea of her own strength. She knew that she would not have the strength to pass, so she seemed very unsure of herself. Contrary to Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke looked excited and couldn't wait to pick up their pens and start filling out the form. Sasuke, you don't have to think about it. I must participate. I can't miss this opportunity. Naruto, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Seeing the two people eager to take the test, Kakashi began to pour cold water at the right time. Don't worry, you two. The Chunin exam is still the same as the first time you take my assessment. You must take part in a group of 3 people. If one person is eliminated at any level, the other 2 team members will also be implicated and eliminated together. Sakura was immediately shocked. Nani? No way. Sakura watched her 2 companions getting stronger and stronger, but she was still stuck in the same place. She was very unsure of herself and didn't want to be a drag on her 2 companions. Naruto also saw Sakura's embarrassment, turned to look at Kakashi and complained. Kakashi-sensei, look at Sakura's aggrieved look. I'm not telling you, you were just turning on the stove for Sasuke. You didn't even care about the 2 of us, and now that Sakura's strength is holding back, it must be your contribution. Oh, really, it seems, there's something wrong with me. A flash of embarrassment flashed across Kakashi's face, and he also understood that he was a little biased. But compared to the other 2, Kakashi liked Sasuke more. When he saw Sasuke, he remembered himself when he was young. They were all so withdrawn and paranoid, and they were both geniuses. Whether it's ninjutsu talent or other aspects, Sasuke is so similar to him, that's why Kakashi has such selfish intentions. After some negotiation, Sakura struggled for a long time, and finally signed the Chunin examination registration form like Naruto and Sasuke. But everyone could see that Sakura was forcing a smile, just because she didn't want to drag down her companions. In the next 3 days, ninjas from other villages came to Konoha village one after another. The Chunin examination, as Kakashi said, is held every 3 years, and is held in rotation among the 5 major countries. Ninjas from the major ninja villages rushed to participate. In the entire ninja continent, in addition to the 5 major countries, there are many other small and medium-sized countries. Most of these countries also have their own ninjas and ninja villages. However, due to their lack of strength and convincing reputation, this important exam is only held in rotation among the 5 major countries. As for why the holding system should be implemented in turns, the reason is actually very simple. Every time there is a Chunin exam, not only the ninjas from all over the world come to take part, but also the big and small vendors from all over the world, who also like to join in the fun and come to watch the 3-year Chunin exam. The status of ninja is very high in the ninja world and has always been worshipped by others. Moreover, some guys who are addicted to gambling also like to take advantage of the Chunin examination time to engage in various gambling games in order to make a fortune and make huge profits. In addition, the country that will benefit most directly is the country that holds the Chunin exams. It is precisely through the reputation and gimmick of the Chunin exams that many people from other places can come to watch. Once there are more people, it can drive local consumption and increase the income of villagers in the village. In the past 3 days, it is precisely because of the large number of customers who have arrived one after another that the already bustling Konoha has become even more elegant. Even the vendors who set up stalls have changed their voices due to the increase in customer flow. Have to work harder. 3 days later, the Chunin examination came as scheduled. The first exam was just like in the original work. The first written exam was invigilated by Ibiki. Among those candidates, several were pretending to be proctors, and they all knew the correct answers to the written exam. The purpose of this written test is to test whether the ninjas taking the test have strong investigative abilities and whether they can obtain the correct answers. In the examination room, everyone showed their talents. The 6th path, toss, can identify the words written by others through careful hearing of sounds, and imitate and copy them all. Sasuke uses the simulation ability of the Sharingan to depict other people's strokes and follow each stroke. Gaara directly obtained the correct answer through the 3rd, trachoma. There are also Kankuro using puppets, Shino Aburame using bugs, Kiba Inuzuka using Akamaru, and so on. Naruto's method was even simpler. He simply handed in a blank paper without even copying it. Anyway, Ibiki won't notice until the correct answer is revealed. The first exam ended soon. There were 96 candidates in total. Excluding the eliminated ninjas, there were 78 people left. What's going on with that guy Ibiki? Is he letting the water go? Why did this year's class leave so many behind to enter the second assessment? Outside the Death Forest, Midori Anko frowned and looked at the ninjas who were receiving the Scrolls of Heaven and Scrolls of Earth. It seems that I have to increase my efforts in the second assessment and eliminate as many guys as possible. The team of 3 from the 7th class also followed the team in front and got into the cabin and began to receive the scrolls belonging to their team. Sakura tightened the black curtain at the door and said nervously, Sasuke-kun, Naruto, who should we put our scrolls in safely? Without any courtesy, Naruto took the sky scroll from the groove of the platform in front and stuffed it into his ninja bag. Put it here, it's safest. With that, Naruto knocked off Sakura's hand, opened the curtain and walked out. It wasn't because Naruto was in a hurry to enter the Forest of Death, but one of the candidates caught Naruto's attention. The man with long black shawl hair and a ninja forehead protector from Kusakure village had just used his long bright red tongue to roll up the kunai that Anko used to throw out as a demonstration and delivered it back to her. It was none other than Orochimaru, one of the 3. When Naruto's 3-person team walked out of the wooden house, Orochimaru happened to be looking here with a smile, but his eyes did not look at Naruto but focused on Sasuke. A moment later, Orochimaru and his companions flew into the trees of the Death Forest. Sakura, Sasuke, let's go too. The second test has officially begun. Naruto waved his hand and took the lead in walking towards the iron gate. Sasuke looked at Naruto's walking back and couldn't help but frown. It's really annoying. He always acts like he is the leader. Chapter 51. According to Anko, the Death Forest is a huge circular forest, surrounded by a huge iron fence, and there are many Konoha ninjas waiting. The remaining 78 participating ninjas will enter from various entrances outside the Death Forest, with the goal of reaching the high tower in the center of the forest to meet up. As for why the contestants are arranged to enter from different entrances, it is naturally to prevent everyone from starting a fierce fight to seize each other's scrolls as soon as they enter. After all, before everyone entered the Forest of Death, everyone had signed a life and death certificate. Konoha village would not be responsible for any accidents, including death, that occurred inside. Such rules also mean that as long as you step into the scope of the Death Forest, you are likely to encounter life danger. On a spacious road among the woods, the three members of team led by Naruto walked forward without much scruples. Sasuke was still competing with Naruto at the moment, rushing forward quickly and walking side by side with Naruto, as if he was one step behind, he would lose momentum compared to Naruto. Sakura followed the two of them, looking into the dense woods on both sides from time to time, with a nervous look on her face. Naruto, Sasuke-kun, it seems a bit uncomfortable for us to be walking outside in such a high-profile manner. Didn't the examiner just say that after entering this forest of death, we must be prepared for possible dangers around us at any time? Enemies appear. Don't worry, Sakura, everything will be fine. Let's see who dares to come out and cause trouble for us. Naruto didn't look back and continued to look around with his eyes wide open. I originally wanted to keep up with Orochimaru, find him as soon as possible, and discuss some things with him. But after entering the forest, Orochimaru seemed to have disappeared, completely missing. Sasuke pinched the phalanges of his hands. That's right. Whoever dares to come to us for trouble will be beaten until he admits defeat. After hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but shook his head. Sasuke, it seems that you don't understand the rules very well. It is not against the rules to kill people in the Forest of Death. Sasuke snorted. Who said I don't understand the rules? Do you think my brain won't work as well as yours? I just said it casually. The three of them were walking and chatting. Occasionally, there would be rustling sounds among the trees on both sides of the road, which attracted Naruto's attention. Obviously, there must be a ninja ambush hidden there, but seeing that Naruto and the other three were so high profile, they didn't dare to attack easily for a while. Naruto just glanced at the trees casually and continued on his way without paying much attention. After walking forward for about an hour, there was a sound of fighting in front of us, but because the trees and leaves were too lush, we couldn't see too far away. Sakura stood on tiptoe and looked forward. What's going on? Is there anyone fighting in front? Naruto waved his hand. Let's go and see which two groups are fighting. It's boring to be in such a hurry. Saying that, without waiting for the two people to reply, Naruto jumped onto the tree trunk and ran forward. Hey, wait for us, Naruto. Sakura waved and called, hurriedly beckoning Sasuke to follow. Soon, the faces of the combatants on both sides appeared clearly in Naruto's eyes. Naruto stood on the tree trunk, observed carefully, and then murmured to himself. It turned out to be three of them. In the open space below, 6 people were fighting hard. 3 people on one side were wearing Konoha ninja forehead protectors, namely Hyuga Neji, Tenten, and Rock Lee. The 3 people on the other side are wearing Odogaker ninja forehead protectors, namely Toss Anvil, Sack Stirrup, and Chin Mallet. Noba Whirlwind. Rock Lee fought against Toss, but there was a bright red blood stain on his left ear. I'm afraid that in the previous battle, Rock Lee had been attacked by Toss's sonic wave because he was not familiar with the opponent's intelligence. At this time, although Rock Lee was struggling with the opponent, he was obviously at a disadvantage. Tiantian, on the other hand, faced off against a girl of similar age to him, Chin, who was also good at another type of sonic attack. Her sonic attack is much weaker than Toss's. She uses bells as a medium to disrupt the opponent's hearing, causing the opponent to be in a trance, and then attacks with Senbon. At this moment, Tiantian had been forced to retreat by Chin, and was stabbed in many places by Chinbin. Only Zack, who was fighting Hyuga Neji, was suppressed by Neji and kept chasing and beating him. Sark's ability is to use his modified hands to perform sonic blast attacks. 100% air pressure and 0% ultrasonic waves are ejected from the wind holes in his hands, and he uses chakra to control the air pressure in an invisible attack. Any attack involving chakra will be invisible under the Byakugan's perspective. Therefore, Sark's attack ability is very threatening to ordinary ninjas. But in the eyes of Hinata Neji, there was no threat at all. Thanks to Sak's rich combat experience, he was able to withstand Hyuga Neji's fierce attack for such a long time. Sakura covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Hey, it's the guy with the thick eyebrows. How could they be surrounded by those three guys?" Before entering the first Chunin examination, Sakura also encountered Rock Lee blowing a kiss to express his love. Therefore, Sakura still has a deep impression of Rock Lee. Sasuke frowned impatiently and said, "Let's go. This kind of thing has nothing to do with us. It's better not to get involved." Naruto shook his head and rejected Sasuke's intention. "That's not okay, I can't watch them die here." Although the three people in Odogakur village are all Orochimaru's subordinates, it is true that Naruto intends to cooperate with Orochimaru. But compared to these, Naruto likes the three people from Class 3 more. The situation on the battlefield below showed that Team 3 was clearly on the verge of defeat. Naruto did not want to watch Xiao Li and the others die in front of him. With that said, Naruto shouted down and asked, "Hey, Xiao Li, Tenten, Neji, do you need our help?" Rock Lee covered his injured left ear. While avoiding Toth's attack, he took the time to look in the direction of Naruto and the other three. "Is it Naruto-kun?" At this moment, Tenten finally got out of Chin's attack range temporarily with the help of her weapon scroll. She supported her weak body, waved her hands and shouted at Naruto, "Naruto! What are you doing here? Well, come down quickly and help." Naruto chuckled. "Oh, you really don't treat me as an outsider, you can do it so easily. You, a defeated general, have the nerve to call for reinforcements, go to hell." Chin shouted loudly. She quickly ran towards Tiantian and at the same time, she took out a large number of 1,000 silver needles from her lower back. As she waved her hands suddenly, the silver needle caught between her fingers flew straight towards Tiantian's face. "Nani, that woman's speed is too fast, she can't escape." Tiantian's eyes were filled with fear. She wanted to immediately move her legs to avoid it, but because her legs had just been hit by the opponent's $1,000 needle. "At this time, I didn't know if it was due to poisoning, but my legs were paralyzed, and I was paralyzed on the ground, unable to move." Tiantian could only watch the silver needles shoot out quickly, and was so scared that he covered his face and closed his eyes. Swoosh! A special kunai made by the Flying Thunder God arrived first and was nailed to the ground beside Tiantian. Shoo! The Flying Thunder God technique activates. Naruto turned into orange and disappeared in a flash. The next moment, he appeared next to Tiantian. Like lightning, he reached out and picked up Tiantian by his waist. Once again, it turned into an orange flash and disappeared. Chi 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 chi. The large 1,000 silver needles lost their target and were all nailed to a big tree behind. Tiantian felt that his body was being picked up, and there was no pain. Only then did he realize that something was wrong. When he opened his eyes, he saw Naruto looking down at him with a smile. "Naruto, thank you." Tiantian choked out his thanks, his eyes filled with mist. At that moment, various thoughts flashed through her mind. She thought she was dead, but she didn't expect to be saved by Naruto. Naruto chuckled. "What are you doing, Tiantian? Don't look at me so affectionately, I have a girlfriend." PFF'd. Tiantian was so amused that he glared at Naruto angrily. "Naruto, you really like to joke around. How can I look at you with affection? Put me down quickly, little one. Lee and the others are still being attacked." Upon hearing this, Naruto turned his head and looked down. Sure enough, after losing the target of attacking the opponent, Chin did not choose to pursue immediately. Instead, she joined the battle of her teammates and attacked Hyuga Neji with Sak, who was on the weaker side. Having to deal with two people at the same time, Hyuga Neji was beginning to have a hard time. But at this time, Sasuke, who had been motionless, had also joined the battle circle, and he and Hyuga Neji were dealing with two ninjas from other villages. "Okay then, I'll go rescue them too again, just think of it as a favor I gave you before I left." Naruto gently placed Tenten on the tree trunk and sat down before jumping down. Tiantian looked at Naruto's leaving back, his eyes went straight. He is really attractive. He has such strength at this age. He is really an outstanding guy. After a moment, Tiantian shook his head quickly. "Oh, Tiantian, what kind of nymphomaniac are you doing? Didn't I tell you that you already have a girlfriend?" Chin once again threw out the 1,000 silver needles, forcing the approaching Uchiha Sasuke back, and shouted loudly, "What to do, Toss, Sark, are there any reinforcements coming from the other side? Let's retreat first." "Retreat? I'm afraid it's not that simple." A vicious voice sounded from above. At some point, Uchiha Sasuke escaped from the opponent's sight, jumped down from above in a detour, and arrived behind Chin. 1,000 birds. The palm of Sasuke's right hand glowed with dazzling lightning, and he stabbed Chin's heart fiercely. Puff! The palm pierced Chin's heart, and blood splattered all over the surrounding ground. Too weak, not vulnerable at all. An evil smile appeared on Sasuke's lips, and he fiercely pulled out the thunderous palm. Chin was also completely killed at this moment. She didn't even have time to close her eyes and fell to the ground with a thud. Sakura looked at Sasuke's sinister look and felt a chill in her heart. Her eyes were full of fear. She covered her mouth and said tremblingly, "Why is this happening? I feel that Sasuke-kun has changed now, and I almost don't recognize him anymore." It seems that Sasuke really went astray. Naruto couldn't help but frown. It's not that Sasuke shouldn't kill Chin, it's just that the cruelty he showed was somewhat divorced from his early kindness. If I remember correctly, it was after Sasuke met Orochimaru and was planted with the curse seal of heaven by Orochimaru that he slowly began to long for power and walked on that crooked and twisted path. But now, he hasn't seen Orochimaru yet. If this trend continues, Sasuke may very well become the second Orochimaru in the future. Destroy one, and there are two left. Sasuke muttered, turned to stare at Sak, and was about to prepare for a sneak attack. But Naruto took the lead, using the ultimate speed of his taijutsu, and reached behind Sak in a flash. Boom! Naruto raised his foot and kicked Sak hard in the lower back. What? Sark let out a shrill scream, his lumbar vertebrae made a cracking sound, and he flew more than 20 meters away. Under the scraping and friction of a branch, Sak finally fell to the ground with a thud. He lay on the ground and twisted his body, groaning, as if he was trying his best to endure the pain. Sasuke tightened the kunai in his hand, bowed and wanted to rush forward to give Sak a touch-up. Naruto grabbed Sasuke's arm. "Forget it, Sasuke, he's already like this, and I'm afraid he won't be able to harm others anymore. Let's spare his life." After saying that, without waiting for Sasuke to answer, he once again stepped forward and rushed forward to rescue Rock Lee. Although the attacks of a guy like Toss are very weird, after all, they rely on technology and heresy, so how can they be Naruto's opponent? After holding on for less than 3 seconds, Toss ended up like Sark. While his ribs were broken, his other left arm was also destroyed by Naruto. Without that annoying technological left arm, Toss will be an ordinary ninja from now on, with nothing outstanding about him. Naruto-kun, thank you for saving us. With the support of Naruto, Rock Lee sat down with his back against a big tree. At this moment, both of his ears were attacked by sound waves, and his cheeks were twisted in pain. Naruto raised his hand and patted Rock Lee on the shoulder. "Xiao Li, you don't need to thank me for following me. We are friends who have practiced together." "Yes." Rock Lee nodded vigorously, and then looked at Sakura, with a hint of blush on his cheeks. It's a pity, Sakura-chan is really embarrassed to let Sakura-chan see my embarrassment. Feeling the passionate look in Xiao Li's eyes, Sakura suddenly got a little angry and hurriedly hid behind Naruto, waving her hands and saying, You don't have to care so much about my opinion, hee. Xiao Li, come on, impress her with your sincerity." Naruto grabbed Sakura's arm and pulled her to him. Sakura was immediately angry. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Before he finished speaking, Xiao Li blew a kiss. "Sakura-chan, I love you." Sakura's hair exploded again, and she turned to dodge with a look of horror on her face, escaping the blow of that heart. "Sakura-chan, please accept my love." Xiao Li's cheeks turned red, and his hands began to blow kisses one after another, and hearts one after another kept flying towards Sakura. "Ah, help!" Sakura screamed in horror, ran away and hid behind a big tree. Naruto was also covered in goosebumps by this scene. Xiao Li was too insensitive. Although his way of expressing love was very brave, it was a bit difficult for outsiders to adapt. "Naruto, thank you." Hinata Neji walked slowly over and looked at Naruto quietly. "You're welcome, don't be so polite." Naruto quickly pulled Neji aside to avoid being affected by Xiaoli's blowing kiss. Hyuga Neji shook his head. No, I say thank you not only because you saved us this time, but also because the words you said to me last time inspired me a lot. Naruto scratched his head and thought for a long time in confusion. Which time are you talking about? The last time I beat you. Hyuga Neji was slightly startled, and a flash of embarrassment flashed across his face. He came over to express his gratitude after being beaten. In the eyes of ordinary people, he must be out of his mind. But Hyuga Neji knew that he was not wrong because Naruto's words last time deeply touched his heart. Over the past few days, he has tried to let go of the obsessions in his heart and slowly accept the people of the Hyuga clan, and found that his state of mind has really changed a lot. This change not only made Neji feel better, but the improvement in his mood also made his strength rise to the next level. Strictly speaking, I don't want to thank you for beating me, I just want to thank you for what you said to me. Neji said awkwardly. Naruto raised his hand and patted his shoulder. You don't have to be so polite. I'm not trying to enlighten you. I just don't want to see Hinata sad because of this kind of thing all day long. Nani? Hyuga Neji burst into tears. Sure enough, was he just being sentimental? But telling the truth like this is very embarrassing and sad, okay. Why is this guy Naruto so unhuman? Naruto smiled and said, but being able to help you makes me very happy. I hope you can get rid of the constraints in your heart as soon as possible. Well, thank you. Hyuga Neji nodded, thinking to himself that Naruto finally said something decent. The 3 members of Class 2, except Hyuga Neji, and 2 other people were injured to varying degrees. Out of help and concern for his fellow villagers, Naruto's team of 3 stayed with them for a day. The main purpose is to help Tiantian and Xiaoli treat their injuries. With the current situation of their 3-person team, if they were left alone, they would definitely be targeted by other ninja teams soon, and there would be no way to get out of this forest of death alive. Ninjas have very strong physical fitness. Xiaoli suffered a sonic attack on his ears and has recovered a lot after a night of rest. Tiantian's injuries were more minor. Although he was stabbed by Chinbin and there were signs of poisoning, after examination, it was found that it was only a paralyzing type of toxin and did not have the toxicity to harm the body. Therefore, early the next morning, the 6 people separated again and rushed to different routes to start moving forward. The 3 members of team haven't gotten the scroll yet, but Neji is a strong guy and he doesn't want to rely too much on Naruto to get the fruits of victory. Naruto himself had no intention of taking them with him. After all, his purpose of entering the forest was mainly to discuss negotiations with Orochimaru. When the time comes, there will be 3 people from Class 3 present, which will get in the way and make it difficult to perform well. Naruto, I saw yesterday that you seemed to have gotten a scroll from that hunchbacked ninja. Is it the scroll of heaven we are looking for? In the woods, Sakura continued to follow the 2 of them, asking Naruto. Naruto nodded. It's the scroll of heaven, and it matches our scroll of earth. Now we just need to rush to the central tower of the forest, and we can successfully complete the mission. Sakura asked doubtfully, really? Then why don't we move faster? If we reach the central tower as early as possible, we can go to rest in advance. Sasuke turned back and glared at Sakura. How do you know how to rest? Haven't you considered other factors? There are 78 ninjas participating in the forest, and everyone has different levels of strength. What method do you think those powerful ninjas will choose to obtain the scroll? Sakura scratched her head. Hunt other ninja teams and then snatch them. Sasuke nodded. Well, you are only half right, but the area of this forest of death is so huge, and the examiner also requires everyone to enter the forest from different directions, so the probability of encounters between teams it will be very low. Because of this, those strong ninjas don't want to fail their assessment, so they will speed up in advance and arrive near the central tower to ambush. Because that is the only way for every team of ninjas to pass. Only if they ambush there will the chance of obtaining the scroll be greater. Sakura then suddenly realized. So that's it, Sasuke-kun, you are really smart. In other words, with the 2 scrolls we have now, as long as we walk slower, the danger we will encounter may be smaller. Naruto listened quietly to the 2 people's analysis, and felt that what Sasuke said made sense. But Naruto didn't think about it that much, and even whether the test could succeed this time was not what Naruto cared about. If the guess is correct, Orochimaru is probably nearby right now, spying on the actions of Naruto and the other three. Look, there's a snake on the tree over there. As she was walking, Sakura suddenly exclaimed. Snake? Naruto was slightly startled and looked in the direction Sakura pointed. Sure enough, on the row of big trees in front, there were many long snakes crawling around the trunks, making bursts of hissing sounds. Why do so many snakes suddenly appear? Something must be wrong. Sasuke frowned and said in a deep voice. As soon as he finished speaking, a woman wearing a forehead protector from Sao Yin village slowly walked out from behind the big tree in front of her. She stuck out her long tongue, licked her lips, and let out bursts of weird laughter. Hey, 3, I heard that you have obtained 2 scrolls. Please hand over all the scrolls, so that you can survive. Orochimaru. This guy finally showed up. Naruto looked at Orochimaru quietly and muttered to himself. A sinister smile appeared on Sasuke's lips. Do you want our scroll? I'm afraid you don't have the life to take it. Hearing these threatening words, Orochimaru couldn't help but frown. Really, then I would like to see what you are capable of. As he spoke, Orochimaru's eyes narrowed, and the murderous aura in his body was released without reservation. Ah! Sakura's face suddenly became full of panic. After exclaiming, she threw her head back and fell to the ground and fainted. Sasuke felt that breath, and felt that his soul was being collided, and the muscles all over his body were shaking uncontrollably. What happened? Was that an illusion? Even Naruto felt a chill sweep through his body and couldn't help but shiver. Sure enough, this kind of murderous aura is no longer something that a Jonin can possess. It should come from the shadow of Orochimaru. Super strength, coupled with his accumulation of countless murders over the years. A contemptuous smile appeared at the corner of Orochimaru's mouth. He is very good at talking big words, but unfortunately his strength is not that great. It seems that Uchiha's direct bloodline is nothing more than this. Compared with Kimimaro, you can't even give him not even worthy of carrying shoes. Shaking his head in disappointment, Orochimaru took out a few kunai and waved them towards Naruto and Sasuke. Go to hell. Sasuke was very conscious at this time, but because his body muscles were out of control, he could only watch the kunai coming, but he was unable to move. You can't die here, move quickly. Sasuke kept cheering himself up in his heart. He held the kunai in his hand, turned the tip of the knife, and stabbed his thigh hard. But just when the tip of the kunai was still 5 centimeters away from his thigh, a hand grabbed Sasuke's wrist. Sasuke, stop, there's no need to hurt yourself like this. Naruto swung the kunai with one hand, knocking down the incoming kunai, and grabbed Sasuke's wrist with the other hand. Naruto, you. Sasuke came back to his senses and forgot to glance at Naruto with gratitude. At the same time, he was also a little shocked. The momentum of the Kusagakure village ninja just now was really terrifying. Orochimaru was stunned for a moment, and looked at Naruto with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Oh. This brat can actually recover so quickly. Wait, that yellow hair, could it be the child of that boy Minato? Seeing Naruto's hair color, Orochimaru already had some guesses in his mind. In the ninja world, hair color also represents some family symbols. Sasuke clenched the kunai in his hand and stared at Orochimaru with a vigilant expression. Naruto, Sakura has passed out. Use your shadow clone to take Sakura to a safe place first. The guy opposite looks like it's very difficult to deal with. Okay, no problem. Naruto nodded and agreed. If they really wanted to fight like this, Sakura would definitely die. The technique of multiple shadow clones. After the shadow clone seal was completed, 200 Narutos appeared one after another, and 2 of them picked up Sakura and jumped to a big tree behind. Hum, shadow clones. It's really surprising that they can reach this number. Orochimaru laughed strangely and said with a joking look on his face. Naruto shook his head and said, 200 is just a small number of my shadow clones. If there are more, there is no problem if there are thousands of them. HMPH. That's a big statement. Orochimaru obviously didn't believe it. Sasuke, come on. Without wasting any more time, Naruto said hello and rushed forward with 198 shadow clones. When negotiating with a guy like Orochimaru, you must prove your strength to him. Moreover, Sasuke was still around at this time, so there were some things that Naruto couldn't talk about too much. There are many snake hands in the latent figure. Orochimaru flicked his right hand, and his entire arm transformed into 5 pythons, extending and lengthening and throwing them towards the shadow clones. Bang 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 bang. More than 60 Naruto shadow clones were dispersed with one move, but there were still more than 100 people left. These more than 100 people simultaneously took out the Flying Thunder God's special kunai from their bodies and threw them vigorously in the direction of Orochimaru. It's really not bad. Orochimaru smiled contemptuously, squatted down and picked up an extra large bluestone beside his feet, and held it in front of him. Ding ding dong. The kunai hit the bluestone floor, splashing sparks and making a harsh sound at the same time. Shoo, shoo. More than 100 good Naruto shadow clones turned into orange flashes and suddenly disappeared from where they were. The next moment, more than 100 people appeared in front of the bluestone, holding a rotating light blue chakra light ball in their palms, and smashed it towards the bluestone. Spiral pill, spiral pill, spiral pill. Just after he withstood 2 balls, the bluestone exploded with a loud bang. Nani, it's really Minato's ninjutsu. Orochimaru, who was behind the stone slab, looked horrified, watching the Rasengans hitting him one after another, but he couldn't avoid them. What? After being hit by the Rasengan in many places on his body, Orochimaru let out a scream and spun upside down and flew out. With a chirp, Orochimaru fell to the ground in embarrassment. But before Naruto could be happy, his fallen body turned into a puddle of black mud and scattered on the ground with a crash. Naruto, be careful. Sasuke, who had been waiting for an opportunity at the rear, let out an exclamation as a reminder. But his reminder was still a little late. There was a slight tremor in the ground, and in the next moment 5 pythons emerged from the ground, rushing towards the shadow clones of Naruto and strangling them. Bang 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 bang. Another large wave of Naruto's shadow clones were scattered, and white smoke exploded one after another and dissipated. However, Naruto's body had already used the Flying Thunder God to escape and did not suffer any damage. Orochimaru, this guy is really cunning. Naruto stood on the tree trunk and couldn't help but frown. After a successful blow, Orochimaru emerged from the ground, excitedly stretched out his long tongue, and licked the side of his mouth. Hum, 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 I haven't met such an interesting kid in a long time. Yes, I'm a little excited. At some point, Sasuke had already left the spot. After he quickly ran and reached the attack range, he formed a ninjutsu hand seal. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. With one hand in front of him, a ray of fire spurted out from Sasuke's mouth, converging into a big fireball and rolling straight in the direction of Orochimaru. Wow, the scorching temperature of the fireball scorched a large area of the ground. If it were Sasuke in the past, he would definitely not be able to achieve this effect using fire release. It seems that Kakashi's recent trick on Sasuke is more than just teaching him thunder release. At this time, although Naruto and Sasuke were not standing in the same position, their vision was blocked by the rolling fireball, and they temporarily lost track of Orochimaru. Hehehehe, the fire release ninjutsu is pretty good, but how can something like this kill someone? Orochimaru's strange and sinister laughter sounded. He didn't dodge at all and rushed straight out of the fireball package. With a snap, it turned into an afterimage and arrived in front of Sasuke in the blink of an eye. Nani, this guy. Sasuke looked shocked, but his body muscles reacted quickly. The eyes were slightly condensed, the black pupils turned into bright red, and 2 magatama formed in the pupils rapidly. Bang bang bang. The sound of fists and feet clashing was heard, and the two began to engage in physical combat. Although Sasuke was beaten back by the opponent, he could barely keep up with Orochimaru's rhythm by relying on the insight and prediction ability of the Sharingan. On the other side, Naruto, who was about to go up to help, suddenly felt the tree trunk under his feet shaking. Looking back, a blue python tens of meters long appeared out of nowhere. It was twisting its huge body, crushing countless big trees, and approaching Naruto. Oh, when did that guy Orochimaru summon the psychic beast? Naruto muttered. The python spit out hissing snake words from its mouth and stared at Naruto with cold eyes. But Naruto also knew this snake. It was the big python that swallowed Naruto into his stomach during the second test of the Chunin exam. In addition to its large size, this kind of snake probably doesn't have many attack methods. Not even 1/10 of the perverted epidermal defense of Wan Shi. It can be said that he is a piece of trash and poses no threat to Naruto. Little snake, come here, I'll play with you. Naruto hooked his fingers. The python seemed to understand Naruto's contempt and provocation. It opened its mouth and let out a roar, squirmed faster and wandered towards Naruto. Wow! The huge snake tail swung hard and whipped towards Naruto. With a loud roar, its tail swept down a large number of trees. Haha, the strength is not small. Naruto had already jumped up high in advance. As soon as his feet landed, Naruto took advantage of his speed and disappeared in place like lightning, hugging the python's tail as thick as a bucket. Give me up! Naruto clenched his teeth, shouted loudly, suppressed his blush, and swung it hard. The huge body of the python was picked up by Naruto and began to spin in circles quickly. Kacha, kacha! Sections of thick old trees were knocked down by the huge body of the python. The python suddenly screamed and hissed in pain, as if begging for mercy. Naruto, get rid of that smelly snake quickly and come here to help. This guy is too strong. While resisting Orochimaru's fierce attack, Sasuke took the time to turn his head and shout to Naruto, who was watching the show. Naruto let go of the thick snake tail wrapped in his hands, and the python was suddenly thrown dozens of meters away by the remaining force, knocking down another big tree. Ha, ha, don't worry, wait for me, I'll be fine soon. Naruto panted heavily and ran towards the python again. If Naruto really wanted to deal with such a big snake, it would be a very simple matter. Whether it's a strange power punch or a Rasengan, it can blow its snake head to pieces with one shot. However, Naruto did not intend to do this at this moment, but chose to deliberately delay time. First of all, Naruto wanted to talk to Orochimaru and couldn't let anyone else know. Because this matter involves a wide range of things. He is a traitor to the village, and he is also colluding with the rebels. How can he be easily known to outsiders? Secondly, the reason why Orochimaru usually plays the role of the fourth Kazekage, and on the other hand plays the ninja of Kusakure village, sneaking into the Chunin examination room, is for Uchiha Sasuke. He pretended to be Kazekage because Orochimaru wanted to use the power of Sunagakure village to cooperate with him and attack Konoha in one fell swoop. Sneaking into the Chunin examination hall, he came purely for the pure blood of the Uchiha clan and the Sharingan. Shimura Danzo's entire arm of Sharingan could not have been transplanted without Orochimaru's cooperation. If Orochimaru just wants to get a pair of Sharingan, he can use Danzo's method to transplant it himself. But Orochimaru, who possesses the art of immortal reincarnation, can forcibly occupy other people's bodies. Therefore, Orochimaru sneaked into the Chunin examination hall to test Uchiha Sasuke's strength, and to see if Sasuke had the qualifications to become the next container. Because of this, although Uchiha Sasuke seems to be in danger at the moment, he will not be subject to real-life threats. Naruto guy, what on earth is he doing? Sasuke cursed, unable to help but feel a little annoyed. He knew what kind of strength Naruto had. It was very simple to kill a big snake. But at this moment, Naruto seemed to be playing, but did not kill the big snake, which made Sasuke a little unable to understand. This weird ninja from Kusagakure village is so strong that it makes people feel suffocated, as if they can't defeat him no matter what. In that case, why not let me try that one? Sasuke fought and retreated, luring Orochimaru to his most advantageous attack location. On the trunk of a 1,000-year-old tree, Sasuke jumped up and kicked towards Orochimaru's face, but was blocked by Orochimaru's palm. And Sasuke also used the force of this kick to do several backflips in the air and escape from the close combat circle. Fire escape function fire technique. As soon as his feet landed on the ground, Sasuke had already formed a fire escape ninjutsu. He stood with one hand in front of him, and fireballs shot out from his mouth, flying straight in the direction of Orochimaru. The speed of forming seals is good, but unfortunately, as I just said, this kind of attack is useless to me, hehehehe. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, ducked left and right to avoid the fireballs, and prepared to rush in the direction of Sasuke. HMPH, Sasuke's lips curved into a smile of success. That's not necessarily the case. As he said that, Sasuke suddenly pulled slightly with both hands. I don't know when several slender threads appeared in my hand, connected to the shurikens behind the fireballs just now. Wow, wow. After the shuriken was pulled, it broke away from the inertial force of flying forward and wound around the big tree behind it several times. You got fooled, Sasuke yelled and pulled hard with both hands. Orochimaru's body was already wrapped in those slender silk threads. Now that the threads were tightened, Orochimaru's body was also firmly tied to the tree. Nani? Orochimaru's eyes widened and he looked around at the thin lines before he realized what was going on. However, at this time, his body was bound and restrained, and his hands could not form seals. He could only watch Sasuke launch the next wave of attacks. Fire escape dragon fire art. Sasuke bit the handful of silk threads in his mouth and completed the seal with his hands. A majestic flame spurted out of the mouth and swept towards Orochimaru along the thin lines. What? Orochimaru was wrapped in flames, and this time he finally couldn't bear the scorching heat and let out a heart-rending scream. Fire release ninjutsu is not as weak as you think. A sneer appeared at the corner of Sasuke's mouth. Just now, Orochimaru ignored fire release again and again, which even made Sasuke doubt his own ninjutsu. Hehehehe, I just lied to you. Orochimaru's strange laughter sounded again. The momentum of the fire wave faded, revealing Orochimaru's figure. She was still tied to the tree at this time, and the skin on her face had been burned black and ulcerated. Even some pieces of meat have been roasted into thick water and are slowly dripping downwards. But she seemed to never know the pain. She just looked at Sasuke and laughed quietly with those teasing and evil eyes. HMPH hum hum hum, it's interesting. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan is indeed well deserved. It seems that my visit this time is worth it. What kind of freak is this guy? Sasuke looked horrified. Orochimaru's disgusted look, coupled with that look in his eyes, made him feel a chill in his heart and he took 2 steps back. But soon, Sasuke realized that something was wrong with his emotions. At this moment, Orochimaru was still tied up, and he still had the upper hand. Wake up, don't be fooled by that guy's relaxed appearance. Sasuke shook his head vigorously, and held the wrist of his right hand with his left hand. What a joke. As an avenger of Uchiha, how can I be easily scared off by you here? With a roar, a dazzling electric arc appeared in the palm of Sasuke's right hand. As he quickly rushed in the direction of Orochimaru, the end of the electric current in his palm also touched the surface of the tree trunk, drawing a long track on the trunk. HMPH. Orochimaru's face remained unchanged. He snorted softly, twisted his head twice, and his neck suddenly stretched and lengthened, flying straight in the direction of Sasuke. Nani? Sasuke was once again shocked by the scene in front of him. These strange methods of Orochimaru have refreshed his knowledge one after another today. Before he could react, Sasuke felt his right hand go cold. Looking down, he found Orochimaru's neck wrapped around his right hand several times. Under a huge force, the electric light in Sasuke's hand disappeared. Before he could react, Orochimaru's head had reached between his neck. Orochimaru opened his big mouth and bit Sasuke's neck hard. What? The black curse seal of the sky was formed, and Sasuke felt a tearing pain, as if there was a force going along the skin of the back of his neck and drilling into his body. His body trembled uncontrollably, and he fell headlong onto the branch of the huge tree, curled up into a ball, and fell into a coma. HMPH, your body has reached the standard that I approve of. Now it depends on whether you can withstand the pain of the heavenly curse seal. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, his neck quickly shrank back, and his body broke free from the thin line. He slowly walked in the direction of Sasuke. The more he looked at it, the more he felt that Sasuke's body fit the criteria of his reincarnation container. Whoosh, whoosh. Before Orochimaru could get close to Sasuke, several kunai flew over and stared in front of Sasuke. Shoo! An orange light flashed and appeared next to the kunai. Naruto picked up the unconscious Sasuke, looked at Orochimaru with a smile and said, Mr. Orochimaru, the time is almost up, let us talk next. Let's talk. Nani? How do you know? Orochimaru looked shocked. But before he could finish his words, Naruto suddenly disappeared and left with Sasuke. Putting Sasuke and the unconscious Sakura together, Naruto said to the 3 shadow clones, okay, their safety will be left to you. I'll go play with that smelly snake first. Oh, the clones agreed in unison, forming a circle to protect Sasuke and Sakura in the middle. Shoo, the Flying Thunder God art was activated again. The next moment, Naruto appeared opposite Orochimaru again. Squatting down and taking back his Flying Thunder God's special kunai, Naruto looked at Orochimaru with a smile and said, "I'm sorry, I just dealt with something. Now we can have a good chat." Orochimaru couldn't help but frown, and asked in a deep voice, "Kid, how did you know about me?" Naruto held his chin in his hand. "Let me think about it, how do I know you? By the way, I knew you as soon as you appeared just now." Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas, right? Orochimaru's brows furrowed even more. "What do you mean? I don't care why you recognized me, but why did you come and say these words to me again after the Uchiha boy was unconscious?" At this moment, Orochimaru had already seen that Naruto's strength was extraordinary, and that Naruto had to negotiate with him behind his companion's back must have some purpose. Naruto nodded. "To tell you the truth, Mr. Orochimaru, through some of my own methods, I already know your purpose of sneaking into Konoha this time. Do you want to unite Tsunagakure, Otogakure, and Kusanagi? Together with Yin, we launch a revenge plan to destroy Konoha." Hidden Shadow Snake Hand. Before he finished speaking, Orochimaru's eyes flashed with coldness, and he waved his hand and launched an attack on Naruto. No matter how the yellow-haired kid in front of him knew these things, he was an important threat to Orochimaru right now. If the yellow-haired brat leaks this information to the people of Konoha at this time, then all Orochimaru's plans that have been carefully planned over the years will be completely ruined. "Mr. Orochimaru, I'm just here to discuss things with you. There's no need to be so grumpy." Naruto did a few backflips to avoid the python's entanglement attack. But Orochimaru quickly came up again and started a close-quarters fight against Naruto. Forest of Death. There were two masked ninjas at the top of the dense branches of the trees. They had just heard clearly the conversation between Naruto and Orochimaru. Ever since Naruto made a big fuss at the root base that day, Shimura Danzo was furious and ordered the transfer of a team member from the root to monitor Uzumaki Naruto. But when these people squatted at Naruto's house, they found that Naruto always did not follow the routine, used the Flying Thunder God's technique to move, and disappeared in a blink of an eye. This caused these root members to sometimes wait outside the house for a long time, always thinking that Naruto had not gone out. But it wasn't until Naruto rushed home from outside after dark that they realized that they were so stupid that they didn't even know when the surveillance target left. In desperation, these root members had no choice but to apply to Danzo to mobilize some Jonin who were particularly good at hiding their bodies to monitor Naruto at close range. This will also enable us to better complete the surveillance tasks assigned by Danzo. And now these two root ninjas in the Death Forest are ninjas who are extremely good at hiding their bodies. Even if a master like Orochimaru is down there, there is no way to easily spot them. Unless the two of them make a noticeable noise, or a sentient ninja investigates the surroundings. "Yuki, are those things that Uzumaki Naruto said true? Is that guy below really Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas?" Yushu frowned. Looking at his attack methods, it must be Orochimaru. "I really didn't expect that a guy like Orochimaru would sneak into Konoha and try to carry out a revenge plan to destroy Konoha. Keita, we must find a way to leave here as soon as possible and tell Lord Danzo all this." The two looked at each other, already understanding what the other meant, and were ready to find the right opportunity to escape. "Mr. Orochimaru, if you push me like this again, I won't be polite." While Naruto was dodging Orochimaru's attack, he also gathered a large amount of chakra at a point on the surface of his fist. He swung out a fierce punch and hit Orochimaru straight in the face. Not good. Orochimaru frowned slightly, feeling the majestic power in Naruto's fist. He didn't dare to be careless for a moment, and quickly pulled away to avoid it. Her body transformed into a python, circling around the thick tree branches. Even though Naruto was very fast, she cleverly avoided him. Boom! Naruto's fist hit the trunk of a 1,000-year-old tree, and there was a loud bang. The old tree, which needed several adults to surround it, was broken by the punch and fell to the side with a crash. The height of this 1,000-year-old tree is at least tens of meters. The position where it tilted and fell was exactly where the two figures were hidden by their roots. "Yuki, be careful," Keita exclaimed, quickly pulling his companion's arm and retreating quickly. But as soon as they dodged and jumped away, they were immediately exposed to the eyes of Naruto and Orochimaru. I really didn't expect that there are two rats hidden here. Naruto looked slightly startled, and quickly turned around and chased after the two people. Orochimaru also realized the seriousness of the problem, and did not lag behind Naruto at all. He quickly twisted his snake-like body, circling and squirming to chase another root member. These two root ninjas were indeed masters of tracking and hiding. Their escape speed was so fast that afterimages appeared. But this speed was nothing compared to Naruto. In less than 10 seconds, he had already stopped in front of the tiger-faced masked ninja. "Are you from the roots or the Anbu?" Naruto asked in a deep voice. "Stop talking. You, a traitor to Konoha, have no right to know." The tiger-faced masked ninja cursed unceremoniously, and then he waved his hand and threw out several shurikens, shooting straight at Naruto. "You have quite a temper. It's a pity that you can't leave today." Naruto blocked with a kunai in hand and knocked down the shurikens one by one. But he didn't expect that the tiger-faced masked ninja was not slow in forming the seals. In such a short time, a fire escape ninjutsu had been completed. Fire escape, great flame bullet. He sprayed out a long line of fire, which converged into a huge square fireball and swept towards Naruto. Too done too luby. Naruto's reaction was not slow. He completed the earth escape ninjutsu seal, squatted down, and slapped his palms on the ground. Boom! The ground trembled, and a wall of earth and stone about 5 meters wide broke out of the ground in an instant and stood in front of Naruto. Good chance. The tiger-faced masked ninja had a slight joy on his face. He knew that Naruto was difficult to deal with. At this moment, Naruto was forced to use ninjutsu to defend himself, and he had already lost his vision. As long as he finds an opportunity to turn around and escape, there is still a chance that he can escape. "Keita, you must hold these two guys back. I'm leaving first." Turning to look in the direction of his companion, the tiger-faced masked ninja turned around and prepared to jump up the tree to escape. But when he just turned around, he saw a kunai flying behind him and sticking into the ground. The handle of the kunai has a special style, with a complex black Indian pattern. With a snap, a flash of orange light, and Naruto appeared in front of him, with the kunai in his hand placed on his throat. "Do you want to escape from my hands? I'm afraid you don't have the ability." A confident smile appeared on Naruto's lips, and he raised his hand to take off his tiger mask. "Go to hell." Unexpectedly, this tiger-faced masked ninja also had a lot of backbone. He waved the kunai in his hand and stabbed Naruto in the heart. Puff! The blade of the kunai slashed across the masked ninja's throat. A bloody arrow shot out, and the tiger-faced masked ninja screamed in pain, covered his throat and fell down, struggling and twisting in pain. "Talk to you carefully. If you insist on dying in a hurry, then you can't blame me." Naruto shook his head, knelt down and took off his tiger-faced mask, only to find that it was just a strange face that he didn't recognize. After opening the ninja's mouth and seeing the black tongue root curse mark on his tongue, it was confirmed that this guy was a member of the roots. "It's true, these two mice are both lackeys at the root." Naruto cursed angrily. "Although I don't know why Danzo sent people here, these two people are obviously not here to monitor Orochimaru. Orochimaru has not been exposed yet, let alone negotiated with Danzo. There is only one possibility left. Danzo holds a grudge against Naruto for causing trouble at the root, and wants to find an opportunity to retaliate." Recalling the painful experiences of Naruto's childhood in his mind, he couldn't help but hate Danzo even more deeply. "You really can't keep an old dog like this. Just wait, Danzo. Grandpa will send you on your way soon." The other side. The root ninja was also no match for Orochimaru. Within 2 rounds of the fight, Orochimaru was strangled to death on the spot. "Kid, these people are here to find you. Keeping you is really a disaster. Go to hell with them." Orochimaru turned his head and glared at Naruto with his forest eyes. He twisted his snake body and quickly approached Naruto. "Hey, you stinky snake, how come you don't listen to me even though I tell you anything? Do you really think that you are invincible just because you are a Sannin? I still have to beat you until you surrender." Naruto was also holding back his anger at the moment, and after Orochimaru's repeated provocations, he was not ready to continue talking nonsense to him. Originally, I wanted to cooperate with him so that I could find an opportunity to get rid of the old man, the Sandaime Hokage, as soon as possible, and then get rid of the high-level officials of Konoha as quickly as possible, so that I could completely take down the entire Konoha. But now, Orochimaru always thinks how awesome he is and looks down on Naruto. If this is the case, then Naruto still has to show his strength. Anyway, in this forest of death, there are not many taboos, and there is no need to worry about damaging the surrounding environment. 8-Gate Dunjia 5th Duman, open. Naruto clenched his hands into fists, and the muscles all over his body were tensing up. As the 5th door's meridians were completely opened, the majestic green steam erupted from the body, causing the zipper of Naruto's orange sportswear to burst. Veins popped up on his forehead, and powerful green steam rushed upwards. That kind of technique, is it the physical technique that Mad Dai was good at back then? How could this nine-tailed boy use it? Orochimaru stopped and looked at Naruto's condition. Orochimaru, I didn't want to fight with you, but you forced me to do this. Just wait and get beaten. Naruto roared, then bowed slightly and disappeared in a flash. But this was not the use of the Flying Thunder God's technique, but purely relying on physical skills, and a blurry afterimage appeared. So fast, Orochimaru was slightly startled. This was his first time to compete head-on with such advanced physical skills. There are many snake hands in the latent image. She waved her right arm suddenly, and her arm transformed into 5 split pythons, wrapping directly in the direction of Naruto. Naruto was very fast, and he dodged several times laterally. After avoiding the entanglement, he appeared in front of Orochimaru with a whoosh. Too slow. Punch me. A large amount of chakra gathered on the face of the fist, and he punched hard. Although Orochimaru tried his best to dodge, his body could never keep up with Naruto's current speed. Boom. The fist hit the side of Orochimaru's face hard, and his cheek twisted and deformed strangely, and then the whole person flew out like a cannonball. Kacha, kacha. A total of 7 or 8 thigh-thick trees were knocked down by Orochimaru's back. Only then did his body stop and fall to the ground with a thud. For a moment, Orochimaru lay motionless, not knowing whether he was dead or alive. There was a brief moment of calm in the forest, with only the whistling of the wind blowing past my ears. Naruto bowed and rushed out again, running straight towards Orochimaru. Orochimaru's nickname is a deadbeat, a guy who can't be beaten no matter how hard he fights. Although the attack just now seemed extremely ferocious, it was not enough to threaten Orochimaru's life. HMPH hum hum, it's interesting. The attack just now should be what Tsunade is good at, but you brat can also use it. A burst of strange laughter sounded, Orochimaru's body twisted strangely, and he sat up from the ground again. There was a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. It was obvious that the punch just now had done a lot of damage to him. But Orochimaru ignored the injury and stretched out his arms like a long worm, lying on the ground. Array of 10,000 snakes. Orochimaru's head tilted back, and his chest expanded rapidly. Yuck. Then, she opened her mouth and spit out, and black snakes poured out from her mouth. As the number of black snakes increased, Orochimaru's lips also developed tear openings, which extended to the base of his ears. The dense black climbing and squirming bodies piled up to about 3 meters high in front of her in the blink of an eye, becoming a huge tide of snakes, surging towards Naruto. I knew this smelly snake would play such disgusting tricks. When Naruto looked at the huge number of black snakes, he suddenly had trypophobia and couldn't help but frown. Forget it, let's use that move. 8-Gate Dunjia 6th Scenery Gate, open. After these days of hard training, Naruto's physical endurance has increased to another level, and he has been able to open the 6th gate of the 8 gates of Dunjia. Naruto crossed his arms in front of his chest, his muscles all over his body were tense, and the number of bulging veins on his forehead increased again. As Jingmun's acupuncture points were completely opened, a green steam that was more turbulent than before erupted from the body. The steam rose straight up and over the surrounding trees more than 10 meters high. Even many participating ninjas passing by were attracted by the movement here. Look, what is that green thing? Chakra. How could it be possible? Chakra cannot reach such a huge level. Drink. Towards the peacock, Naruto suddenly jumped up and started to wave his fists in the air. At first, the punch was not very fast, but red fire appeared on the fist surface. As Naruto's punches increased in speed each time, the surface of his fists rubbed against the air, creating flaming fists that shot straight towards the raging tide of snakes below. Puff, pff'd. As soon as the fire fist came into contact with those black snakes, it burned their snake bodies into ashes. As the dense fire fists fell like raindrops, the large tide of snakes also evaporated over a large area. In a short time, the wave of snakes spit out by Orochimaru was completely wiped out. Ada, adada. But the fire fist meteor shower was far from over, and continued to blast towards Orochimaru. Nani, what kind of attack method is this? Orochimaru looked horrified, and quickly wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with his thumb, and quickly performed seals with his hands. Spiritual art Rashomon. Boom. The ground trembled, and a ghost-faced iron gate rose from the ground, standing in front of Orochimaru. Boom, boom. The fire fist hit the iron door, making waves of exciting sounds. But because of the elimination of the snake tide just now, it lost its previous ferocious momentum and did not cause destructive damage to the iron gate. On the outskirts of the Death Forest, under a wooden pavilion, Mitarashi Anko held a portion of meatballs that had just come out of the pot in her left hand, grabbed the meatball sticks in her right hand, and stuffed them into her mouth one by one. Today's dumplings taste really good. It seems that the new flavor developed by the shop owner is very successful. There was too much food in her mouth, and Anko's cheeks had become bulging, and her beautiful face was somewhat deformed, but she still chewed slowly with a satisfied look on her face. Ha. Suddenly, two ninjas wearing Konoha forehead protectors jumped forward one after another from a distance, slightly bent down and cupped their hands towards Anko. Captain Hongdu, the person you asked us to investigate has been found. Hongdu nodded and asked vaguely, well, how is it? Are there any suspicious clues? The two ninjas looked at each other, their faces full of solemnity. One of the tall ninjas said solemnly, Captain Anko, you'd better come with us and have a look. The name of the ninja from Kusanagi village is Kenose. My son, he died in the back of the guest room yesterday. What? Anko looked slightly startled and swallowed all the food in her mouth, but she almost choked. Kenoseko, is he dead? Could it be that the guy yesterday was really him? Anko frowned, recalling in her mind the long-tongued Kusakaker ninja before entering the Forest of Death yesterday, which always made her feel something was wrong. After all the candidates who participated in the second assessment entered the Forest of Death, Hongdu also sent people to investigate the information about the ninja of Kusaik village. But until now, the news came that the man had already died. Recalling the suspicious places before, Hongdu already had some guesses that were certain to him. About 10 minutes later, Anko followed the two Konoha ninjas and arrived at the mountain behind the guest room. Seeing that the ninja of Kalyan village who died tragically had the same appearance as the woman with a long tongue yesterday, Anko's face became increasingly ugly. Is it really Orochimaru? Why did he sneak into the queue for the Chunin exam? Hongdo murmured to herself, raised her right hand unconsciously, and touched the heavenly curse seal on her left back shoulder. In her mind, she recalled all the times she had gotten along with Orochimaru, as well as the experiences Orochimaru took her to do experiments with. In the end, Orochimaru abandoned her completely, and the expressions on Anko's face changed one after another. You two, hurry up and inform the third generation of this matter. The Kusagaker ninja who pretended to sneak into the examination room is probably Orochimaru. Anko said in a deep voice. What, Orochimaru? Isn't that guy an S-class rebellious ninja in the village? The two ninjas exclaimed at the same time. They were both very young and obviously did not know much about Orochimaru's past. Hongdu waved his hand, with an unusually solemn look on his face. Stop talking so much and follow my orders quickly. This matter is much more serious than you think. Yes, Captain Anko. The two of them agreed with their hands, turned around and ran towards the Hokage's office building quickly. Orochimaru, no matter what you want to do, I have to stop you this time, even if I die with you. With a look of determination on Anko's face, she turned around and rushed towards the Forest of Death. An area east of the Death Forest. Naruto and Orochimaru were still fighting with all their strength at this moment. After the ninjutsu confrontation just now, it was now changed to a taijutsu confrontation. Naruto opened the 8-gate Dunjia to the 6th scenery gate at an incredible speed. Unexpectedly, Orochimaru also used his own method to increase his speed to barely keep up with Naruto's pace without falling behind. He lay on the ground on all fours and used some new method to make a long snake tail grow from behind his buttocks. The whole person was like an extra-large four-legged snake, shuttling between the big trees, constantly coiling to avoid Naruto's strange power punch attacks. Boom, boom. Every time Naruto punched, he could smash a big tree into pieces and send it flying out. But the fist wind was always so slow, passing by Orochimaru's body and failing to hit Orochimaru. Yuck. Orochimaru saw the opportunity, twisted his neck 180 degrees and turned over, opened his torn mouth, and flicked his tongue towards Naruto. The long red tongue rapidly changed in the air and turned into a python, heading straight for Naruto's face to bite. Naruto's feet had just landed on the ground, and before he had time to dodge, the python wrapped around his waist. Feeling the huge stranglehold from the python, Naruto felt a sharp pain in his waist, causing him to clench his teeth. HMPH. Orochimaru, I didn't expect you to come to your door yourself. Naruto endured the pain, shouted loudly, grabbed the python's body with one hand, and pulled it back hard. Crash. Orochimaru was unable to match Naruto's strange power, and his body was instantly pulled back. Eat me with a punch. Naruto clenched his right fist, a large amount of chakra gathered on the fist, and punched Orochimaru hard on the face. Boom. Orochimaru's cheeks were dented and deformed, and then she let out a scream and her whole body flew out. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Naruto was extremely angry and let out a loud roar. After Orochimaru's body flew more than 10 meters away, he grabbed Orochimaru's tongue that transformed into a python with his left hand and pulled hard behind him. Orochimaru was once again unable to control his body and was pulled to fly in the direction of Naruto. Vomit. Just when Naruto was about to use the strange power fist to attack again, Orochimaru suddenly opened his mouth and spit out a sharp long sword from his mouth, and pierced Naruto's heart directly. That sword was familiar to Naruto. It was called the Kusanagi sword. It was a top-notch weapon in the entire Naruto world. In addition to being extremely sharp, it could also be controlled by the owner's thoughts. Therefore, Naruto did not dare to be too careless, so he could only let go of Orochimaru's long tongue, do a backflip to avoid the thrust of the Kusanagi sword, and raised his foot to kick Orochimaru in the stomach. Boom. What? Even though the situation was urgent and Naruto did not use any strange power, Orochimaru was still kicked high into the sky and let out a shrill scream. Hidden Shadow Snake Hand. In midair, Orochimaru waved his right hand, and his arm transformed into a python, wrapping around a big tree in the distance. As his arm quickly contracted and pulled back, his body was also carried towards the direction of the big tree. Ha, ha, how can this nine-tailed brat be so difficult to deal with? If there weren't some methods I couldn't use at this time, I would definitely kill this brat. Orochimaru stood on the branch of the tree, glaring at Naruto with eyes filled with hatred. Forget it, such a guy has his own ambitions. He shouldn't disturb my plan. Today's body is almost at its limit. I'd better leave first. As he spoke, Orochimaru twisted and crawled around the big tree, disappeared into the ground and disappeared. Is that guy gone? Seeing the great Shiva disappear from sight, Naruto relaxed his tense nerves, quickly cancelled the 8-gate Dungia state, held his hands on the tree trunk and breathed heavily. Ha, ha, cage level or cage level, that guy Orochimaru is really an invincible little strongman, is it okay to be beaten like this? Naruto clenched his teeth, and large beads of sweat poured down from his forehead like raindrops. The 6th scenery gate of 8-gate Dungia was opened for the first time, and the high-intensity battle continued for nearly 20 minutes. Naruto's body was already overdrawn, and even his muscles were twitching, causing tearing pain. Through the original understanding of Orochimaru, Naruto can guess that although Orochimaru at this time is not as powerful as he was in the later period, but he still has many other methods, which he didn't use in the battle just now. A cage level is always a cage level, and Naruto probably hasn't reached that level yet, just wandering among the ranks of elite Jonin. Being able to persist to this point, Naruto has almost reached his limit. Although the Flying Thunder God can be used at any time, Naruto's life will not be in danger. Although the trump card of the Wind Release Rasenshuriken has not been used, Naruto is not here to fight Orochimaru, he just wants to cooperate with him. Since they can't talk together, Naruto will act according to the opportunity and take Danzo's life in his own way. The sun slowly sets over the mountains, and the evening of the day has arrived. Naruto sat down with his back against a big tree, closed his eyes and rested for a long time. It wasn't until the sky slowly turned dark that he stood up, dragged his weak body and walked in the direction of Sakura and Sasuke. Although Naruto feels very tired and weak now, and wants to fall asleep immediately. But at this time, both Sakura and Sasuke have fallen into a coma. In such a dangerous environment, if no one keeps vigil, they will definitely become prey in the eyes of others. Moreover, in the afternoon, when Naruto and Orochimaru's fight made such a big noise, there were already many competing ninjas nearby, already lurking around and watching carefully. In other words, Naruto is camping here with Sakura and Sasuke to rest, and there may be many pairs of eyes staring around. Boss, I think there's something wrong with those three brats. 2 of them are still unconscious, and the other one is also weak. That's right, boss, how about we take advantage of this opportunity to kill those 3 brats in one fell swoop and take away the scrolls on them. Between the dense trees, 3 ninjas wearing gas masks on their faces were plotting in a low voice. They were wearing light yellow jumpsuits, and they were ninjas from some small country. I think it's okay, you can try it. One of the ninjas with afro hair nodded in agreement. Immediately, the 3 of them slowly groped along the bushes, approaching where Naruto was. There are several teams of ninjas who have the same idea as the 3 of them. However, after seeing Naruto's abnormal strength in the afternoon, these ninjas did not dare to take action so easily. They are just waiting for other teams to test first, and then find opportunities to regain the required scrolls. Ha 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 ha, Konoha brats, hand over your scrolls quickly, otherwise none of the 3 of you will be able to get out of here today. 3 men wearing jumpsuits and gas masks jumped out from behind the trees. As they approached Naruto's team, they formed seals with their hands and used their best ninjutsu. In an instant, men in jumpsuits and masks appeared one after another, and their faces were almost identical to the 3 of them. But these people's movements were unusually slow. They just moved forward slowly with stiff steps. Is this a shadow clone? It doesn't look like it. Naruto raised his eyelids and looked at the men in jumpsuits and masks, frowned and muttered. Shadow clone technique. Still sitting with his back against the big tree, Naruto formed the shadow clone's hand seals with his hands, and several shadow clones with the same posture as Naruto appeared next to him. Go ahead and get rid of them all. Don't disturb my rest. Naruto waved his hand. Oh, the 3 clones agreed in unison, jumping up from the ground and rushing towards the large man in a jumpsuit and a mask. Bang 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 bang, puff, puff, puff. The 3 Naruto shadow clones took out a large number of men in jumpsuits and masks in front of them without any effort. After all, the shadow clone is an elite Chunin with the same strength as Naruto, so how can it be impossible to defeat these slow-moving men in jumpsuits and masks? But a horrifying scene occurred. For those men in jumpsuits and masks, when they are stabbed in the body by kunai or knocked down, a large pool of water will pop up from their wounds. Those water stains will instantly turn into the next split body of a man in a jumpsuit and a mask. In less than half a minute, 3 Naruto shadow clones defeated hundreds of men in jumpsuits and masks. Not only did they not become fewer. However, hundreds of men in jumpsuits and masks also split into multiples and continued to slowly surround Naruto. Ha 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 ha, Konoha brat, you'd better change your attitude. We admit that your performance this afternoon is indeed surprising, but our ninjutsu is not that easy to deal with. The masked man in the jumpsuit let out a strange laugh, and their successful and failed splinter bodies swarmed forward, crushing the 3 Naruto shadow clones beneath them, and destroyed them in an instant. Those 3 people are ninjas from which village? How could they have such rogue abilities? I think that kind of technique should belong to the category of illusion, but it is different from basic illusion. It is indeed very difficult to deal with. Not far away among the trees, several groups of ninjas were discussing in whispers. When Naruto heard the provocative words of the ninja in jumpsuits, he opened his eyelids and glanced at them with disdain. You want me to treat you with a straight attitude? Who do you think you are? You are just a bunch of thieves who only know how to behave. Just a cheap guy. As he spoke, Naruto raised his right hand slightly, and a rotating blue chakra light ball kept spinning in his palm. As Naruto injected the wind escape chakra in his body into the light ball, there was a harsh and unpleasant buzzing sound, which made people's eardrums feel uncomfortable. Okay, this is the result of my correct attitude towards you. I will give you a big reward. Wind escape spiral shuriken. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.